If it's Thursday, it's time for NSRLA. Welcome, race fans. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Cam Gillens here in the Slingshot TV booth. And tonight, we're bringing you race number 4 of the Downtown Auto Sales National Series live from Martinsville for the Grandfather Clock 200. Martinsville Speedway, nestled in the Virginia countryside, is one of NASCAR's oldest and most iconic tracks. Opened back in 1947 by H. Clay Earls, with seating just for 750 fans back then, it's been a cornerstone of stock car racing for decades. In fact, Martinsville is the only track that's been on the NASCAR schedule since its very first season back in 1949. Its unique paperclip shape, featuring tight turns and short straightaways, has been a proving ground for NASCAR legends like Richard Petty, who scored an incredible 15 wins here, more than any other driver in history. Now, beyond the track, Martinsville and the surrounding Henry County have a rich history rooted in the furniture and textile industries. The area is once known as the sweatshirt capital of the world due to its significant textile production. This industrial heritage played a vital role in shaping that community for years. An interesting feature here at Martinsville Speedway is that railroad track that runs parallel to the backstretch. This proximity to active rail lines has been a distinctive characteristic of the Speedway. In 2004, as part of a $3 million capital improvement plan, the railroad tracks were relocated to accommodate the expansion and enhancement of the facility, including repaving that racetrack and installing safer barrier walls. Another unique aspect of Martinsville is the coveted trophy, that grandfather clock. Since 1964, winners here at Martinsville have taken home a distinctive prize, a nod to that region's rich tradition in furniture craftsmanship. Chris, while drivers aren't going to be wearing sweatshirts tonight, there will likely be lots of perspiration, as 200 laps is no easy feat at Martinsville, while drivers bump and bang into every corner. What are they going to have to do to get out here with a win and the grandfather clock?
Well, they're going to have to check their emotions at the door tonight. Hurt feelings are something not uncommon here at Martinsville, but to achieve success here, you have to be ready to possibly receive some contact at some point tonight. There's 200 laps around the paperclip with 55% of the fuel cell available, so 75 laps on a tank, but I don't think fuel is going to matter for anything tonight, Ellis, because there are 0 fast repairs, and we know how Martinsville brings about some contact. Will we see the chrome horn in action tonight? I'd bet on it, Ellis. Who's going to find themselves in victory lane at the end of this thing, or making an early stop by the hot dog stand? We're going to find out tonight.
Hot dogs and hand-to-hand combat are going to be some of the stories we're talking about tonight live from Martinsville. But before we get to those and the green flag, it's time for everyone's favorite Slingshot TV pre-race tradition. Folks, rise and remove those caps, if able, for the playing of the national anthem. We will be right back. You are looking live at Martinsville Speedway, getting ready for 200 laps of hand-to-hand combat in the Xfinity cars here for NSRLA and that Downtown Auto Sales Series. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith and Cam Gillens in the Slingshot TV booth. let's talk about what to expect for this race, and we got to lay the groundwork. We got to lay the foundation. We're 4 races in, or I should say 3 races into the season. Let's take a quick look and assessment of the point standings to see where drivers stand before that critical playoff begins. Bryce Hinton, Chris, has come out of the gate swinging. He has been consistent, including a win a couple of weeks ago at Las Vegas. He's on top of the point standings, and behind him, 27 points back to Tyler Honeycutt, but it is tight from second all the way back really to 8th, just about 23 points separating second to 8th, Chris. What are you looking for early on in the season? How important is it to be up there right now?
Well, you definitely want to be up there high as you can, possibly in the points, sort of set a statement early on in the season. And what we've seen so far, Ellis, is, Bryce Hinton has been the most consistent driver this season. But, he's had some stiff competition from some of these drivers you see on the screen right here. Evan Janik, Tyler Honeycutt, those guys have been fast all season and have been delivering, week in and week out. But, just some misfortune along the way has kind of, relegated them to a little bit further back in the points because of that. Still very early. I've got my eyes on a few people, though, that you see right there on your screen. One of them right there in 8th place, Jacob Cochran, last week's winner at Texas Motor Speedway. And we know he had some tough luck earlier in this season, missing a race, failing to qualify. So he's going to look to rebound right here, continue to rebound throughout this season. And many of these drivers you see right here, Ellis, they could definitely make a push right here. Look at Andy Berry, our winner from Daytona. He's all the way back in 16th. We know he's going to be wanting to make up some ground here in the points. So a lot of time for some moving and shaking right here in the standings.
Yeah, 9 races left in the regular season. Then it's a 6-race playoff. So lots to look forward to. Still lots of racing left to do. And speaking of racing, we got 200 laps of racing coming out here in just a few minutes. Let's look at what you at home should be looking at and following, and some things we can pay attention to keep things interesting with the stories to follow tonight here at Martinsville as we get ready to buckle those seatbelts. It's going to be a tough 200 laps, Chris. I know we keep on talking about 200 laps is a lot at Martinsville. What makes it so difficult is the importance of rhythm with the short track. How's that a challenge for drivers?
It's just an immense challenge here, Ellis, because the margin over being backwards into the wall here, like locking up the rear tires, just slightly charging the corner, it's so small right here at Martinsville compared to a lot of other tracks. We're going to see, I'm ready to see drivers spin out on corner entry tonight, Ellis. I think that, just charging down into these corners, it requires a lot of brake, and it's just a razor thin margin. I can't even put it into words. It's almost like on a road course, Ellis, where you see drivers spin out on corner entry. It's kind of the same principle here, but I feel like the margin of brake zone is even smaller here. Going slightly deeper into the corner, just barely missing your marks, could result in you being backwards into the wall in turns 1 and 2 or in turns 3 and 4. So getting in a rhythm is critical, and making sure that you stay focused and stay after that braking zone and watch out for your marks is very, very important all night tonight.
Speaking of very important, everyone watching at home right now, we appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you. You are some of the most important people other than the drivers out on the racetrack. We got folks, Chris, tuning in to the chat already. Brienne's back. We're glad to see Brienne here rooting on the drivers. Connor is here. Welcome to Martinsville. Chaos by hot dogs. I don't like that. Sounds like a bad name of a bad B horror movie or something like that. Also, Chad CR in the chat says, Happy Veterans Day. Absolutely appreciate all those veterans out there, and
absolutely
make sure that you like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And we are going to be doing a diecast giveaway. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's keep on with these stories. Chris, tempers are going to be important to keep in check tonight. As we were watching practice, we saw a lot of beating and banging, and I think that's probably going to be a bit of a canary in the coal mine for the race. Martinsville known for contact. I think we're going to see that tonight. How important is it, if you're on top of that pit box as a crew chief or a spotter, to make sure your driver is staying cool and not really getting payback until maybe when it matters at the end of the race?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier about having to check your emotions before you come into the door here. I just always try to put myself in the other driver's shoes, and I tried to recall all the times that I've accidentally run into other drivers here at Martinsville. it's very, very easy to do. Just because of the break zones, the tight quarters that you're in right here, these flat corners. It's difficult to avoid contact, even if it's a driver that you like in front of you, somebody that you get along with, that you typically work with on the racetrack. So it's very important to maintain your cool, try to stay after it. If there is some contact and you wind up backwards, never fear, it's a short track. You're probably going to see an abundance of cautions tonight to get yourself caught up. So, you want to stay in the game, and you want to make sure that you don't do anything rash immediately following, maybe getting spun out, that could jeopardize your chances for the rest of the race.
Chris, speaking of big stories, big news coming into the chat right now from the local reporter for NSRLA, Casey Bristow, saying that Evan Janik has not qualified for the race. It's going to be a D&Q for Janik, who is third in our point standings right now. So we're already set up for a big point shakeup based on that D&Q from Evan Janik in that number 60 car. So I think a lot of drivers may be breathing a sigh of relief because one less guy they have to beat tonight. And to do that, to win the race, you're going to have to save that right front, Chris. Talking about heavy braking zones, there's going to be a beating put on those right fronts tonight. And drivers just have 5 sets of tires. And I know it's a lot, but 200 laps is also a lot. How do you manage it?
Yeah, you mentioned it, the locking up of the right front tire, that's the delicate balance that you find yourself in. Some drivers want to dial a little bit more front brake into their cars here at Martinsville to avoid spinning out on corner entry. But as you dial more front brake into the car, it makes it more difficult to turn, which, means that you're cranking a little bit more wheel into it, and you're possibly going to cause that air pressure to go up, that temperature to rise in that right front. And you might see some right front tire wear. Likewise, you might see some right rear tire wear on corner exit as you buzz the tires, trying to accelerate, trying to get full throttle as quickly as you can. Right front tire wear, right front tire heat is definitely going to be a key story to keep our eyes on all night tonight. And drivers locking up those tires just exacerbates those conditions.
And final story of the night, we have seen 3 races and 3 different winners. Could tonight be 4 races and 4 winners? There's going to be 28 drivers in the field looking to lay claim to that checkered flag and take it to victory lane tonight and walk out of here with the grandfather clock. Chris, who you got your eye on is someone who hasn't won a race this season, but we very well could see in victory lane at the end of the evening.
Well, one of the drivers coming into tonight that I was going to say to you guys on is a driver who's doesn't look like they're going to make the race. Evan Janik D&Qing is a big story, being so high up in the points. But I'm going to turn my attention to that number 27 car tonight, Christian Barnes. Ellis, we've been watching Christian Barnes over this entire calendar year here on Slingshot TV, and we know what kind of driver he is. I feel like this is a good track for him. This is right in his wheelhouse here at Martinsville. I think that he's a driver that you're going to have to contend with if you want to win the race tonight. And he got a great qualifying run, Ellis. He's going to be rolling off third tonight, which we'll get to the starting grid here in just a second. But qualifying up front here at Martinsville is critical, not only to get a good pit stall on pit road, but to avoid some of the chaos, avoid some of the calamity that we're going to see here on this half-mile paperclip.
It's going to be an interesting night. It's going to be even more interesting to see who walks out the winner. Speaking of winners, folks, we're going to get to the great grid in a minute, but we are giving away a Christopher Bell diecast tonight in the chat. We've already had you laying those comments down on the keyboards. Keep those things coming. Let us know who you're rooting for. And at the end of the night, we're going to give away a Christopher Bell diecast to one of the fans who has the most points on that leaderboard that's been scrolling across the screen. You earn points for every comment you add. Don't spam the comments with just letters, but you get points for every comment you add, and you also are going to have the opportunity to play some games and pick some potential winners and leaders at halfway. All sorts of fun ways to play in the chat, folks. Make sure you stay tuned for that. With that being said, we're going to head to the starting grid right now. They are taking to the track to get this thing underway. Let's go ahead and look at who's going to be starting where tonight for the NSRLA Downtown Auto Sales starting grid. And on the pole, it's a Slingshot familiar face, Sean Signori. It's his first race of the season, Chris, but he has come out the gate in that number 77 machine swinging. Keep an eye on Sean Signori. Blaze Baker also has had a lot of speed this season, and just his 2 starts, average qualifying effort of 10th and an average finish of 7th. So that number 40 is going to be one to look out for. You already mentioned Christian Barnes. He's going to be starting from 3rd place tonight. And last week's winner at Texas, Jacob Cochran, is going to look to do the Texas two-step with 2 in a row here at Martinsville. He's going to have to come from 4th to do it. Donnie Honeycutt, 22, starting 5th place tonight. To his outside, on the outside of row number 3, it's Matthew Healy in that number 57. Michael Cole in that bright yellow and black number 43. He's been lurking near the top of the field as he wanted to watch out for in victory lane tonight. We'll find out in just a little while. He's starting 7th. Tyler Honeycutt comes from 8th in that number 54. He's shown speed. Can he get a finish to match it tonight? He's coming from 8th. Jordan Ives qualified 9th in that number 31 machine, with Mark Cofield in the 97 starting his outside in 10th.
And rolling off 11, we're going to have Tyler Hensley in the 53. Tyler was very fast last week at Texas, and on his outside starting 12th is Tyler Merkel in the number 6. Inside of row number 7, we've got Gavin Henson in the number 39. Henson's going to roll off from the 13th spot. And on his outside, Bryce Hinton, a little bit of a struggle in qualifying for the number 28. The points leader is going to roll off 14th. On the inside of row 8, we've got the 51, of Bill Hull. And on his outside, Brock Whiteman rolling off 16th in the number 41. Brandon Vees is going to roll off in 17th spot. And on his outside, Alex Pollock in the 92. Dustin Lewis will roll off from the 19th position. And on his outside, the number 9 machine of Ryan Bittler.
21st is going to be David Moyer in that number 47 with Bradley Minor to his outside in the 46. Stephen Gill starting 23rd with Gino Volante on his birthday starting 24th. Roy Sprague starting 25th with Brett Wren coming from 26 tonight. He's going to have his work cut out for him. And then Dan Berg is going to be starting 27th in that number 48 machine, one of the most dangerous places to be in the field. He's going to have to watch out for the leaders early if he isn't able to get by some cars. It's going to be an interesting night, not only at the front of the field, but all the way through the field for these 200 laps, folks. It is going to be a wild one indeed. And the lights are out on the pace car, I believe. So we are going to be getting ready for a green flag here in just a moment. Up at the front of the field, we mentioned Sean Signori and Blaze Baker. Chris, any last words of wisdom for the driver from the crew chief?
Well, we got a lot of drivers getting EOLs here at the start. Christian Barnes, Bryce Hinton, Gavin Henson, Michael Cole, some fast drivers starting at the back of the field. They're going to have to keep those emotions in check all night long, and I think we're getting another lap, it looks like, right here. Yeah. So those drivers are going to have to keep their emotions in check tonight right here, because it's going to be a battle for them. It's going to be very entertaining for us to watch, probably very frustrating for them. Nobody's got a better seat in the field right now than Sean Signori, our broadcast partner right there, starting on the pole. So, yeah, if you're in his shoes, you really like where you're at right now.
Yeah, we don't play favorites here in the booth, but yeah, we'll be watching that number 77 with a keen eye tonight. He's sharp about race history. We'll see if he's as sharp as a driver, and I think we're going to get a whole nother lap. They're being really generous here with these pace laps. We appreciate that, and with that, it gives us an opportunity to talk with you in the chat just a little bit. We got Connor Lyons rooting for the 60. I'm sorry, Connor, bad news. Evan Janik did not qualify for this race. You're going to have to pick somebody else. Daytona back. We're glad to have Daytona here rooting for everybody. And Jonathan Cofield in here rooting for that number 97 of Mark. Let us know how you're related. I'm assuming there's a relation there at some point, Jonathan. Let us know who that is to you in that number 97. Folks, it is about to be a wild one. This isn't the Madhouse, but it's pretty close, and I think we're going to see some beating and banging tonight over the course of 200 laps. That pace car is getting out of the way because the chaos is about to begin. It's going to be Sean Signori in that white and green number 77 machine leading the way with Blaze Baker to his outside. They see the green flag for the first time tonight in Virginia. We're underway at Martinsville down into turn 1. It's a battle for the lead side by side. It's going to be Signori getting away cleanly. Now the battle's between Baker and Honeycutt for second.
Yeah, it's a battle for second, and it's a battle for the bottom of the racetrack. These drivers want to get down against that curbing on the inside. That outside lane does not have a lot of grip. Oh, we got trouble off turn 4.
33 in the 97. That's the 53, I should say, in the 97. I believe that was Tyler Hensley maybe in the 53. You might have to correct me a little bit.
That's right.
Tyler Hensley in the 53. Also, that might have been
Mark Cofield in the 97.
Oh, Jonathan, I'm sorry. Already Mark having trouble. Let's find out what happened.
Yeah, right here. So these drivers are actually on, looks like road number 5 right here. So you got the 53 right here of Hensley. This is all the way back here at the start right here. Hensley on the inside of row number 5 right there, that black and red number 53. Mark Cofield on his outside in that silver and red number 97. I mentioned before how it's a battle for the bottom of the racetrack, Ellis. Drivers want to be down there on the inside, so Cofield wants to be down there where Hensley's at. Oh, a little bit of contact with the curb right there. Oh, Hensley hit it again. He hit it twice in turns 3 and 4. Bounced him up into the 97 of Mark Cofield. And unfortunately for him, both those drivers are going to go around right there off of turn number 4.
So a little bit of trouble early here at Martinsville. Caution out on lap 3 here on the racetrack. It has already been a wild one. We speculated that we would likely see our fair share of chaos tonight. And so far, that has delivered, I suppose. If you're watching the chat, let us know who you're here rooting for. We are giving away that Christopher Bell diecast to one lucky chatter. You're competing for points, and with that, I was going to make the first question out at the bottom of the board, Chris. What's the first caution? What lap's it going to happen on? But I think
didn't get a chance.
I don't think we even got a chance for that. So we'll go ahead and actually open up guesses for the winner. All you got to do, look at that left-hand side, see the driver number, and hit the pound sign or the hashtag number sign. Type that number and hit enter in the chat. That's all we need. Let us know who you think is going to win, and that will qualify you. We'll give points away if your win is correct at the end of the race. So an easy way to pick up some points on that chat leaderboard for that C. Bell Yahoo diecast. I think that's one of my favorite Christopher Bell paint schemes, is that purple Yahoo diecast. I'm a sucker for a good purple car, and that is definitely one of them. Now, Chris, we didn't see anyone come down pit road. A little bit too early for tires here.
Yeah, I mean, they just ran one lap, so yeah, you're definitely not going to give up track position at this point. And with the likelihood of there being many cautions tonight, I suspect that if you're able to be up here in the top 5, I suspect that you won't see any of these drivers come to pit road until that stage break that we're going to have, the first stage ending right here at lap 50. So I suspect the drivers that are up here at the front of this thing, they're definitely going to be staying out until that point.
We already got some picks coming in here to the chat. We got Doug Wasaki rooting for the 8 of Jacob Cochran. We got Brienne rooting for that number 31 of Jordan Ives as the drivers take the choose rule here down the front straightaway. I missed the choose beetle. I don't know what happened to the choose beetle. We had the choose beetle for 2 races. We're going to have to check in on that. They got us used to it, and then they took it away from us. But we also got 39 folks rooting for Gavin Henson in the chat right now, as well as that number 9 machine driven by Ryan Bittler. We got some Bittler fans in the chat. We're getting gridded up again, and a couple of cars a little lagging back there on the restart, but it's going to be deja vu. Sean Signori and Blaze Baker are going to lead the way here on the restart here under the lights at Martinsville. Signori gets away with a great restart, jumps the field. Blaze Baker settles into second. Meanwhile, it's a battle for third between Jacob Cochran and Donnie Honeycutt. You mentioned it. It's a battle to the bottom. Jacob Cochran's going to get there with that run to the outside.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get there right there. Blaze Baker right here in the second spot under a lot of pressure from Jacob Cochran. Oh, some contact to the rear bumper of the 40 machine. He's going to keep it straight. Meanwhile, back behind them, looks like Jordan Ives. Yeah, he's really struggling in that 31 car. That's back around the 10th spot, a little bit further back from that. Yeah, he's way up the hill right here. And you can see Alex Pollock gets free off of turn 2. You can see how he really wants to get back to the bottom of the racetrack, Ellis, where there's more grip.
Yeah, and another car up against the wall. That's the 9 of Ryan Bittler. We can see it early. The outside is definitely going to be no man's land tonight as the drivers sail it down into turns 1 and 2. And now another car finds himself on the outside. That's the 46 of Bradley Minor, struggling to get by Christian Barnes or vice versa. Minor's going to want to get to the bottom quickly in that number 46. That's currently a battle for the 15th position, which is going to be given to Christian Barnes. He wins out on that one. They settle back in single file, and Chris, I think everyone's going to want to mind their P's and Q's for just a little bit, but as I say that, Jacob Cochran a little bit further up front. It's a battle for second position. He dove his nose to the inside. I thought he might have want to maybe send a message to Blaze Baker here on lap number 12, but he settles it down at least for a moment.
He does right here, and then we know that this 8 machine is going to be somebody you got to contend with all night. He's fast on just about every type of racetrack. Talked to him after the race last week at Texas, and he felt very confident coming into tonight. He felt like this is a track that, he could excel at, possibly make it back-to-back wins in that number 8. And here comes Sean Signori and Ellis. I thought this might happen. I saw it on the restart right there. Sean changed lanes before the start-finish line as we got trouble between the 51 and the 65. That's Brandon Vees and Bill Hull in turns 3 and 4.
And it's going to bring out the second caution of the night, Chris. But did Sean Signori just get thrown a second life here? One car colliding into that number 51. Not sure what the 53 might have just been caught by surprise there. But Sean Signori just might have got thrown a life vest here. But let's take a look at what happened first before we get to that other story.
Yeah, we'll go back right here to see if we can see what happened between the 51. That's Bill Hull closing up on the rear bumper of Brandon Vees. Vees in that number 65 Aflac car. Hull in the number 51 Phoenix Racing Chevy. You can see already a little bit of left rear damage to the 51, a little bit of casual contact here on the Martinsville Speedway. He's getting some pressure from behind right here. That's the number 41 right behind him of Whiteman. And I think that you're going to see it right here in turns 3 and 4, maybe misjudging the... Oh, no, actually, no, it was Brandon Vees who had a little bit of trouble, maybe charged the corner a little bit too hard in that number 65. Bill Hull locked up the rears to try to avoid Brandon, and those two cars went around right there. Not a lot of contact, no harm, no foul, and both these drivers should be able to continue on right here. Unfortunately for Bill, he is now one lap down.
So first casualty of contact, Bill is going to, you mentioned it, he's going to be one lap down here, but I'm just trying to find in our running order where that put Sean Signori back to 24th, it looks like. And Chris, is he on the lead lap after serving that penalty somehow?
He is. He got very, very lucky.
My goodness.
He got very, very fortunate in the sense that the caution came out right when he peeled off to go down pit road. So a very lucky break for Sean. And, this is Sean's first race with these guys and not being accustomed to the rules. If you race in the official races a lot, which I'm sure Sean does, that's something that you're allowed to do. But a lot of times in league racing, a lot of leagues will not allow you to change lanes before the start-finish line. So that's a lesson learned for him, and he's got plenty of time to recover. Yeah, first race out, still learning the ropes and some different rules here at NSRLA. We got some more picks coming in. We got Brett Wren rooting for that number 24. I think he's rooting for himself, but hey, he's got at least one fan. I know he's got some more out there. Daytona was wondering if we would get 25 laps, and the answer is going to be a resounding no to that without a caution. Daytona's asking, let's get an over-under on these cautions. They're saying 10 plus. 10 plus cautions. Let us know if you think we're going over 10 or under 10 in the chat. Give us an over or under on 10 cautions tonight. Right now, we're going to wait. I thought the pace car was going to peel off. They're going to give that pace car another lap, it looks like. But yeah, I think I'm going over on that one. That's just my personal feeling. I love these guys, but I also recognize it is Martinsville. You can also pick the winner. We're going to cut that off at the end of stage number 1 in just about 30 laps. It ends on stage or on lap number 50. You can still get your pick to win, and it'll get some points on the leaderboard. We're giving away that C. Bell, Christopher Bell, the Winston Cup Series champion this year in the NASCAR Cup Series.
There you go right there. It's good looking purple paint scheme. Gotta love that thing. Just get those comments on the chat. We're going to choose one of you at the end of the night. Right now, pace car making their way down pit road. We're going to get a restart here. It's going to be Blaze Baker, the control car. And boy, he is making me nervous.
Running him up.
He's making Donnie Honeycutt even more nervous here on the restart. He's going to wait to get to that restart zone, and he brings us back under pace here at Martinsville Speedway. Baker gets away cleanly. It's a battle between Honeycutt and Cochran for second place. Everyone looking for the bottom. Down the backstretch, Honeycutt gets into the number 22 of Donnie Honeycutt, along with the number 97 of Cofield. We're still green. My goodness, there's the yellow. There is the yellow. We made it half a lap, Chris, and boy, commentator's curse strikes once again. It just one car got into the wall, and all hell broke loose from there.
Yeah, I think that the contact was between Matthew Hill in the 57 and Donnie Honeycutt in the 22. That's going to be the initial.
He got caught up in that, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to go back right here to see what happened right here. We're looking at turns 1 and 2. Yeah, and it looked like to me we might be able to, I don't know if we can back it up maybe and get a little bit of a different perspective right there. Maybe overhead of those two drivers making a little bit of contact right there. It's kind of hard to tell right there at that point. Here we go. This is a good shot right here. I'm glad that we got that shot. Honeycutt bounced off the outside wall down into the 57 of Matthew Hill. And Honeycutt actually went into the inside wall at that point, Ellis, and dealt a lot of damage to that 22 machine and a few others back behind him.
Puts us under caution for the third time tonight here on lap 22. 1/10. We gotten past the 1/10 mark tonight, guys. It's going to get this thing done at some point. The sun's already down, so we don't have to worry about daylight. But right now, we are working caution number 3. Blaze Baker scored as your leader currently. Jacob Cochran second. In third place is Tyler Honeycutt. That was Donnie Honeycutt involved in that last incident. Matthew Healy in fourth. And Gavin Henson currently running in the 5th position. I want to do a bit of a quick driver spotlight on Jacob Cochran. Just 2 races out of 3. He missed a race at the beginning of the season. But you want to talk about just fast out the gate. Jacob Cochran has put together an average running position so far this season of 5th over the course of 2 races. This guy does not joke around when he is out there in that number 8 machine. 1 top 5, 1 win already this season, and he is one to watch for sure. We've seen him be a formidable force in the Mystic Racing League, and he's doing exactly the same here tonight. Now, what kind of paint scheme does he have on that number 8? Is that a Tim Richmond throwback we're seeing right now?
It is. It's a throwback to Tim Richmond's number 27, Old Milwaukee car, that number 27. Yes, that's a great idea that he's taken the Downtown Auto Sales logo right there, sort of, modified it and changed it, and I like that. That's very, very creative.
I like it, and I also like to see that pace car make that left turn down pit road because it means we're going back green flag racing. Oh, well, they're playing us, Chris. Race director is going to give us one more lap around here, but it's going to give a couple guys a couple opportunities to get kind of neatly tidied up and make sure we got everyone in the right order for this restart. We got now Daytona saying he's going over 25 on the cautions. These guys will get it. They'll get it worked out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
This is just how it goes early at Martinsville. 28 cars on the track. Everyone's eager to get to the front. It's the nature of racing here in Virginia, but we are going to get the green flag this time for some actual racing. It's going to be Blaze Baker in that number 40 and that number 57 of Matthew Healy. They're going to enter that restart zone, that blue restart zone. It's going to be on Baker. Gets a bit of a nudge from Jacob Cochran on the restart. He gets away cleanly. He's going to get down to the bottom. Into turn 1 they go. The battle's on for second between Cochran and Healy. Side by side. Cochran's got that inside line advantage. Healy's going to force the issue, maybe at least try to, on the outside down into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, we're going to see that 57 car. He wants to get to the inside right here. Got some good momentum off turn 4. He's going to be able to get down into the bottom right there, right in front of the 54 of Tyler Honeycutt.
Watch out, Pollock. Watch out.
3 wide off of turn 2 here.
Alex Pollock had that bumper to the 39 of Gavin Henson, who
He's around.
loses it in turn 3. Will we go under caution, or will the race director let this thing sort itself out? We're about to find out if that 39 can't get it going. The race director holds the flag, he holds off, and we're still green flag racing. Good news for the field, bad news for Gavin Henson and that number 39, who's going to have to gather it back up and now continue racing. But the battle is at the front. Jacob Cochran starting to put a move on Blaze Baker.
Yeah, Blaze Baker under a lot of pressure right here from Jacob Cochran. Jacob Cochran is getting through the center of the... Oh, he tagged the wall right there off turn 2. He's getting through the center of the corner so well right now. Let's look at Blaze Baker. He missed the inside right there. That's going to give Cochran the opportunity that he needs.
That is a battle for the lead. We're watching live down into the corner. Jacob Cochran, mark him, there's a new sheriff in town. He's now P1. Blaze Baker back to second position. About a car length separate first, second, and third. Headed down into the corner. Third place, Matthew Healy, looking to see if he can take advantage of that move Cochran just made on Blaze Baker. He's going to have to wait at least another lap to do so, all while watching that mirror for that black and white number 54 of Tyler Honeycutt.
Yeah, single file right now, a little bit of separation between the cars at this point. Oh, that 57 of Matthew Healy, he kind of overshoots turn 3 a little bit up the hill. Going to lose a little bit of ground, but he keeps it straight. Meanwhile, back behind them, a little bit of a battle going on, a little bit of a battle brewing right here around Alex Pollock. And who is that behind him? That's the number 41 of Brock Whiteman in that white and blue machine. Whiteman looking up to make up some ground right there on Alex Pollock. And Ellis, dare I say that things are looking pretty clean right now.
You close your mouth immediately, sir. Absolutely not. We don't comment on how long we've gone green. We've learned our lesson on that one as we watch Alex Pollock in that number 5 machine right behind a battle brewing between the 54 and the 57 for third place right now. Honeycutt has run down the 57 of Matthew Healy, and really the top 5 beginning to stack up just a little bit, about 4 car lengths back from one car to the next, as far back as 7th, 8th position. And that battle for the lead is heated up once again. Jacob Cochran does lead, but it looked like Blaze Baker had found just a little bit in the tank there here on lap number 35.
Yeah, what you can see right now, Ellis, you can really see it on that right front. That was one of our stories in the pre-race. Look at that right front rotor glowing on that number 40 machine. I'm going to try to keep my eyes on a lot of them right here, but as he tags the wall off of turn 4, we're going to see a lot of that all night long too. But yeah, you can really see those rotors beginning to glow right here. And Ellis, what? Oh, we got the 92. Alex Pollock's around collecting Christian Barnes.
Big moment between Christian Barnes and Alex Pollock. Both the 92 and the 27 collide in turn numbers 1 and 2. We're going to return to the scene of the crime here and check that instant replay and see if we can't figure out. Looks like Barnes might have been an innocent bystander.
Yeah, right here, we're going to ride on board. It looks like with that number 92 of Alex Pollock. Charging right here down into turn number 3. He's going to navigate around here just fine right here. But Ellis, I mentioned how the margins are just very, very thin for overdriving the car. And yeah, he just gets loose right there. Just a little bit too much speed carried in right there. Gets tagged by the 41 and the 27 as he came back up the racetrack. Christian Barnes just had nowhere to go, unfortunately. Tough break for the 27. Tough break for the 92 also. Luckily, Ellis, we are at Martinsville, and we're going to see plenty of bent fenders. I don't think that's anything too serious for either one of them.
We've seen some tough breaks for a lot of cars out here tonight, and unfortunately, I think it's probably going to get worse as we move through the evening. It's going to be a long night for a lot of drivers. Now, with just about 13 laps left in this stage, we believe drivers can make it 75 laps. Chris, do you think anyone tries to come in here and maybe make it to lap 100, potentially?
You definitely could. That's definitely an option, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it happen. Maybe for some drivers who fell back a little bit. Oh, Bryce Hinton. He looks like that. So as far as, drivers that we feel like might be contenders, looks like Bryce has decided to take advantage of this. He took that number 28 car, a little bit different look. It's for number 1, it's not a Toyota like it typically is, and number 2, it's just plain white this week. But yeah, he got that Ford down pit road, and he's going to be a driver that tries to utilize that strategy, it looks like.
maybe lost that JBL sponsorship. I was starting to like that black and orange paint scheme on that number 28. Hopefully he can pick up a sponsor here in the next week or so, and we'll get some colors on that car. Next week, drivers taking the choose rule right now at the line. It looks like can't tell if the lights are off on the pace car. I believe they are. So this is going to be the one to go. Driver's going to have to get nice and tidied up here for this restart. It's going to be about a 10-lap shootout. Hopefully we can make it under green flag conditions, and a couple chats coming in. Daytona says number 8's going to walk away with this. Jacob Cochran ain't nobody got anything for that number 8. And yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on that. It's the 5th caution tonight. Hopefully we make it to the end of stage 1 without another one. Not gonna have to wait long to find out, because Jacob Cochran's about to bring us underway once again as he gets to the restart zone, mashes that throttle in that number 8 machine. We are back racing here in Martinsville.
Oh, we got trouble.
And we got trouble already down the front stretch. Massive pile up right at the start finish line. That's the number 9, the 59. I believe this is the 24 as well. Several drivers involved in that collision. Roy Sprague, one of them, and I believe another one was the number 9 of Ryan Bittler, unfortunately. Let's take a look.
Yeah, a little bit of a stack up right here, it looked like, as they're getting going. It's going to be around the number 9 right here of Ryan Bittler. We'll see if we can roll it forward right here. Yeah, this is going to be a good perspective right here. Our producer, Cam Gillens, is Johnny on the spot with these Whiplash Sim cams right here. And you see Brett Wren in that number 24 right behind him. A little bit of anticipation right there. You see how they went forward and then they kind of stopped a little bit. That's a hallmark of one of these, straight front stretches, especially a short track like Martinsville. Some drivers mashing the gas, trying to anticipate, then slamming on the brakes as the driver in front of them didn't go, and that just accordions back and gets worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately for Ryan Bittler, Brett Wren could not avoid the rear bumper of that number 9.
Oh, boy. Brienne not happy with the caution. I know she's rooting for Jordan Ives in this one, also Daytona. Hopefully we're going to be able to get them here in a nice green flag run while they're giving us a little bit of extra airtime here. Take a moment to talk about a big event we have coming up 1 week from Saturday. It's going to be live at 9 o'clock Eastern time here on Slingshot TV. If you love watching the racing, we've got a fun one for you. It's the Thanksgiving Fall Classic. All the money we raise from driver registration and donations, as well as super chats during the YouTube broadcast, are going to go to Feeding America. They're going to help hungry families this holiday season. And we're also going to be giving away back to our community with some diecast giveaways. Jeff Gordon diecast, some Dale Earnhardt Jr. diecast, and some NASCAR trading cards as well. We'll talk more about that here in just a moment, but we got some more racing to settle here, at least who's going to win this particular stage. It's going to be a 7-lap dash. Cochran in that red and gold number 8 machine is going to be in charge of the restart. Brings us back underway. It looks like we get away a little bit more cleanly this time. It's going to be Healy and Baker going for second place. Baker on the inside, the purple and black number 40, with the number 57 of Healy to his outside. Healy really wants to try to channel that outside line maybe into a pass for second place and get down, but he's looking like it's going to be a tough sledding from here.
Yeah, that 57 car, he really charged turn 3 right there. Matthew Healy in that number white 57 Ford. He's on the outside right here of Blaze Baker, and he wants to get down to the inside. He's doing everything he can to fight right there with Blaze Baker, but Blaze is holding that inside lane right there around the curbing, the fast way, the safe way around Martinsville right here. And yeah, Matthew's going to get in right behind him right here and get against that curbing himself. Right behind him, some pressure from the 54 of Tyler Honeycutt, as these drivers are now single file as they work their way through turns 3 and 4.
Single file working their way through turns 3 and 4, but it's about a half a car length separating second, third, fourth, and fifth position. Now with just about 5 laps to go. Now 4 laps remaining in stage 1 of the Grandfather Clock 200 here at Martinsville for the Downtown Auto Sales Series. Jacob Cochran leading the field by about 3 car lengths, but the battle's on for second. That's Blaze Baker, followed by Matthew Healy. Blaze Baker with a 10th place average finish this season, looking to greatly improve that tonight as we ride on board here with Tyler Honeycutt looking out the front windshield at 3rd place. Matthew Healy, can he chew out any of that lead here in the next 2 laps or so? He's got 2 laps to get by him. Top 10 will receive stage points at the end of stage number 1 that go towards the point standing. So very important moment for these drivers to try to earn those points.
Yeah, and while we're working, there's a lot of stuff going on deep in the field right here. Hopefully, we can make it to the end of this stage without a caution, because these drivers desperately want to get as many points as they possibly can right here. Matthew Healy making a charge up the inside, not going to be able to do. Oh, he might do something about it.
Boy, Matthew Healy lunges to the inside of Blaze Baker. He's going to play it conservative, but Baker in that outside groove about half a lane up gets a little bit loose, and that might give Matthew Healy second place in the stage. Blaze Baker paid the price a little bit with a little bit of damage on that right front fender as he grabbed the wall coming to the checkered flag for stage number 1. And boy, yeah, we didn't think Healy had a shot there, but he made it work.
Yeah, he did a great job right there. I thought that move down to the inside, down the front stretch, I thought that was a little bit, aggressive maybe, and I think that he thought it was too because he really backed off, but I think that got Blaze Baker looking in his mirror a little bit and maybe caused him to miss his marks into the next corner, and yeah, Matthew took advantage of it and completed the passes. These drivers are coming down pit road, Ellis.
Live pit stops happening under the caution flag for the first time tonight. Drivers going to come to the attention of their pit crews. Got to be careful not to slide those cars past the line in their pit stall and not get too close to that left-hand wall so they can maximize the efficiency of their pit stop. And we've seen, Chris, track position means everything. So just a second on a pit stop could cost you 6-7 positions on the racetrack.
Yeah, 6-7 positions for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Man.
Yeah, these drivers getting their service done right now. And yeah, we've got a couple drivers. Let's say Brett Wren, Ellis, decided to stay out right here. So he's going to inherit the lead on this restart while we've got other drivers getting their service done. Jacob Cochran going to lead the race off of pit road. See if Brett Wren is going to decide to stay out. It looks like he will right here. And Ellis, I'm showing him he's got 53 laps. I thought that Bryce Hinton might stay out, but he decided to come to pit road, actually. So a lot of laps on the tires of that 24.
If you are Jacob Cochran and Matthew Healy, are you maybe a little bit irritated with a driver on old tires staying out? Because this is destined to bog up the field. And if you thought we saw chaos in the early going here, I'm concerned that we might be getting ready for some more as we watch Brett Wren he's looking like he's shading a little bit. Oh, boy. Driver's going to be relieved to see that 24 making his way down pit road. Get that lap led, Brett. Get some air time. We love it in that number 24. Good-looking paint scheme that is adorning that car tonight. Need a hug. I like it. Everyone could use a hug once in a while. Hey, shout out to Julie in the chat. Mother-in-law, happy birthday to you. 35th birthday to the mother-in-law. Appreciate her tuning in right now. And everyone needs a hug once in a while, especially these days. That's a good-looking paint scheme. That's a good-looking paint scheme on that number 8. Love that Tim Richmond throwback paint scheme. Folks, get those comments in the chat. We're still giving away that Christopher Bell diecast. You can see the leaderboard running across the bottom of the screen, but you got plenty of opportunities. You already got your picks locked in for the winner. We had 5-6 entries into that, and 5 or 6 different picks, so someone's going to stand to advance up those point standings on that chat leaderboard here before the end of this night. Drivers taking the choose rule right now. Jacob Cochran is going to shade to the left. He's going to be on the inside on this restart. Meanwhile, Blaze Baker to the outside. Didn't really like that outside, Chris, in the final 2 laps of stage number 1. But he doesn't really have a choice. If he wants to maintain that track position, he's going to have to hang it high, wide, and handsome there on the second lane in what we've deemed to be no man's land in the first 50 laps. We'll see if that number 40 fares any better. Pace car is going to make that left-hand turn down pit road. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing for the Downtown Auto Sales Series here on Slingshot TV. Flagman has that green flag in hand, and now it's on Jacob Cochran, who mashes that throttle pedal and brings us back underway. We're racing again in Martinsville for stage 2 at the Grandfather Clock 200. It's a battle for second. It doesn't last long. It's going to be the 40 of Blaze Baker sliding back to third, deferring to Matthew Healy, who moves his way up to second position. The battle's between Honeycutt and Whiteman in the battle for fourth.
Trouble in turn 4 right here. The 6 of Tyler Merkel's around. Jordan Ives just barely able to miss him. And Ellis, we're going to get away with just a single car incident here.
I don't know how we did it. We do get that yellow flag, and Chris, this really makes it difficult. We'll talk about how this makes this difficult after we look at this replay, but you said it. We're lucky that this was only the 6 car involved.
Yeah, we definitely are right there. I saw a lot of drivers have to take evasive action through turns 3 and 4 to avoid that number 6. Another throwback, mellow yellow paint scheme right there. But look at the 65 of Brandon Thies charging down here into the corner. Yeah, some contact to the left rear of Tyler Merkel is going to send Merkel around right there, right in front of I think that was David Moyer and Jordan Ives. A lot of drivers doing a great job to avoid possible contact right there. And yeah, that you said it. That could have been a lot worse. So yeah, and Tyler Merkel has plenty of time to recover from that spin.
Raffaello in the chat says it's going to be a long race. You know, we're going to stay positive here, Raffaello. We're going to stay positive. We are working our 7th caution flag of the night, but that's okay. We're going to get in plenty of green flag laps, hopefully here. And Chris, that's what I wanted to bring up right when this caution came out. How difficult is it to actually get that rhythm with caution after caution after caution and really at the max, maybe 10 or 15 laps of green flag racing? Does that kind of make it more difficult for these drivers?
Yeah, it definitely does. And I guarantee you that if we were to ask one of these drivers what they're thinking right now, I guarantee you they would say, man, if we could just get some green flag laps, I think that we could get some separation. And I think that we could possibly, get a little bit of a green flag run. It's just very, very hard with, constantly being jammed up on top of each other to not make a mistake.
Yeah, they are going to be jammed up on top of each other as they have much of the evening. Hey, new mini game coming your way in the chat, folks. It's a word scramble, and I'll give you a hint. This is a Thanksgiving-related word. It's a Thanksgiving-related word. Type what you think the answer is. Make sure you put that number sign in front of your answer so it actually scores in our system. But all you have to do, first 2 people to type in the correct answer will get points on the leaderboard towards that C-Bell, Christopher Bell diecast. Unscramble that word and let us know what it is in the chat, and you could get points added to the leaderboard going towards that diecast. Choose rule has happened. It's going to be Jacob Cochran on the inside. No surprise there. And then Blaze Baker in that number 40 machine going to line up on the outside. He was very eager to get down the bottom. It worked out, albeit after losing a position. But looking through Michael Cole, Chris, that number 43 has climbed up to the 6th position on the outside of row number 3. Keep an eye on that number 43, Michael Cole. I think he could be one to watch as this race continues on. Pace car's off. We're going to see the green flag once again once Cochran gets to that restart zone. He brings us underway. One car does not get going. Massive collision. Track blocker on the front straightaway. And boy, Chris, this is a melee here in Martinsville. 10, 15 cars sideways crash. Torn up sheet metal on the front straightaway after one car, the 41 of Whiteman, did not get going.
Yeah, the 41, that is the car that initiates this crash right here. That's Brock Whiteman. And you're going to see it right here as he's going up through the gears, almost like he missed a shift up through the gears. Maybe, yeah, and when he put it, yeah, the tires just spun right there. 51 of Bill Hull. Tyler Hensley's around. Dan Berg is in it. That's the number 5, also of Stephen Gill. We'll see right here if maybe we can get a little bit different look, a little bit different view of it. Sure if we are going to get another replay. We might be able to go back right here and let me see right here. If so, we're going to find the 41 of Brock Whiteman. We might be able to go side by side right here and maybe, yeah, I got a replay of it right here, Cam, right here. I'm gonna see if we can go on board with that number 41 right here. I was hoping that maybe we had a little bit different perspective. Yeah, here we go. So this is looking over the right shoulder of that number 41 of Brock Whiteman. Yeah, he went from second gear to first instead of going to third gear. That is unfortunate right there. And unfortunately, a lot of other cars, as you can see right here, were involved in that. Several were able to stop and avoid some massive contact. Christian Barnes, Ryan Bittler, Bradley Minor, Bryce Hinton. So, a lot of drivers able to avoid this crash, but several cars taking a lot of damage here, Ellis.
Several cars taking a lot of damage, as will all of our guts on Thanksgiving dinner or lunch with all that Thanksgiving food. And several people were able to solve that problem, that brain teaser riddle in the chat. Stuffing was the scrambled word. Points going to Preach Gaming, and Brienne gets some points on the leaderboard for being the first two folks with the correct answer. Stuffing. Chris, are you a stuffing or are you a dressing guy?
Definitely dressing. We live in the South, Ellis. It's dressing.
Hey, I had to ask. Hey, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what's your favorite Thanksgiving. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, what your favorite Thanksgiving dish or food is. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, what's your other favorite holiday dish for whatever your favorite holiday is? Let us know in the chat. Got a lot of comments coming in right now. My mother-in-law says the stuffing is awesome. I agree. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff every Thanksgiving. Looking forward to it this year. Connor Line says, where's the red flag when you need it? And I think, Chris, if I'm race control, are you considering single file restarts at some point over the course of this race?
I'm not sure if it's something that is in the rule book, but yeah, I think that this would be a circumstance that I think would call for it. So, yeah, we'll see right here what the race controller decides to do right here. Pace car is going to peel off right here. Through some attrition, though, the field's being sort of, whittled away right here. This might bring about some green flag racing.
We're going to see. Green flag's about to fly once again here at Martinsville. Jacob Cochran, Blaze Blaker lead the way, and Baker struggles a little bit on the get-go. It's going to allow Michael Cole to slip into fourth position. He's still on that outside, not the place to be, but the battle is on for the lead between Jacob Cochran and Matthew Healy, who's moved up to second position, with Blaze Baker back to third. Heavy racing going on here on lap number 69, coming to lap 70 of 200, inching closer towards the halfway mark in Martinsville. Battle for the lead is on, but it's even tighter in the back of the field. Brett Wren right around the 9th position, now 10th and 11th position. Oh boy, back in turn number 2. You can see the gaggle of cars there. It's thinned out a little bit here in just the last minute or so, but it's back around David Moyer in 12th position, and now 13th position. Stephen Gill going on at it back here. It is a wild race in the middle of the pack right now.
Yeah, David Moyer up the hill a little bit. A lot of nose damage to that 47 right there. That car doesn't look like it's performing as well as it was earlier in the race. Ryan Bittler's going to get to his inside. So a good bit of damage to David Moyer that he's having to deal with. In front of him, also a good bit of damage to Tyler Hensley in the 53. That's another car that looks like it's struggling to make it through the center of the corner. There's Hensley right there in that black and red Pinnacle number 53. He's gotten it back down to the bottom right here, but yeah, you can see the damage on that car, Ellis. You can definitely continue on a short track. It's attacks the wall right there, but their performance on some of these cars is definitely hurting after some of the carnage we've seen here on the track tonight.
Yeah, carnage is maybe putting it lightly right now. Back up to the lead. It's the top 3, Cochran, Healy, and Baker. Throw a blanket over them. About 5 car lengths go from back to the back bumper of first place all the way back to third. And the battle for second between Healy and Baker heating up once again. It's Baker in that black and purple number. 40 is, wow, the number 57 of Healy drove it up the track a little bit too hard of an entry there for the 57.
Yeah, he was able to correct it right here. We got some blocking going on here on the front stretch. Might be able to, yeah, our producer Cam Gills is right on the money right here. Brett Wren is putting a lot of pressure on Brandon Vees. Vees is trying to protect that inside position right there, entering turn number 1. And put a pretty aggressive block on Brett Wren. That's going to enable the number 97. That's Mark Cofield to get to the inside of Wren, entering turn 1 right here. That's going to give him the preferred position entering this quarter.
Caution. 3-car pileup. Sorry to interrupt, Chris, but
yeah.
the 53, you were just talking about Hensley. The 31 as well of Jordan Ives involved in that caution. He's towing back to the pit stop, and Gavin Henson might have been in that one as well. Let's see if we can't figure out what happened to these 3 cars that's going to put us under caution once again on lap 77.
Yeah, the 53 right here is going to be the driver that caused it. Yeah, that car, it definitely looked like it was a handful after the pretty severe damage that he's had right there. That's Stephen Gill in that blue and purple number 5. right behind him. He's closing up on him right here. The 53 gets loose right there, and it looks like he's going to come back up the track right there, and I think Stephen Gill tagged the wall. Oh, my gosh, and Stephen Gill ricocheted off that inside wall back into the path of Jordan Ives, the number 59 of Roy Sprague. Few cars also involved. I think Ryan Bittler also got some damage in that deal as well. So several cars, and I think David Moyer also maybe received some contact. So about a 5-car incident right there entering turn number 1.
5-car incident puts us under caution for the 9th time tonight. And I think some of the fans in the chat starting to get a little feisty here. They've seen longer runs on Be Fixed on the official races, Chris. We got some shade being thrown here in the chat. Definitely from a driver standpoint, might be a little bit frustrating. I have received word from race control. They're not going to change it mid-race. They're not going to go single file. You mentioned kind of a battle of attrition here, that some cars will drop out and it will thin the field just a little bit. But as a driver, like we were mentioning, this throws you off your game. It's so important to have rhythm here at Martinsville, and right now it's been a struggle to find it with the amount of cautions that we've seen so far. And with all that being said, we're going to take this opportunity to hear from our partners over at Whiplash SimCams. They bring you all the action that you're seeing here live, and Cam Gillens is making it all look so easy. We'll be right back in just a second. Getting ready for the restart here in Martinsville. Jacob Cochran leading the way with Matthew Healy second. They get away cleanly. A couple cars lag back on that restart, but the top 5 solid through turns 1 and 2. One car up the track there just a moment. He gets it gathered back up. That was the 35, I believe, of Gino Volanti on his birthday. Found his way back down to the bottom of the track now, but the top 5 continue single file led by Jacob Cochran, but further back through the field. Cam found it. Alex Pollock, that's going on back in the 11th position. Up the track a little bit. Drivers maneuvering for every position they can get right now.
Yeah, Mark Cofield looking to the inside of Gino Volanti right there. Volanti went to put a little bit of block on him right there entering turn 3. Mark Cofield did cut him a break right there, and yeah, we are definitely seeing the contact still ensue right here, even after all of the carnage that we've seen here on the racetrack so far tonight. As we go back up here for the battle for the lead right here, Blaze Baker putting a little bit of pressure on Jacob Cochran.
Battle for the lead heats up down the front straightaway. They just came to the end of lap number 83, now on to 84. It's going to be Jacob Cochran in that the red and gold number 8 leading the way. Blaze Baker had gained a couple car lengths, but has since lagged back just a little bit. Look at that battle between the number 28 and the 35. Gino Volanti going underneath. The 28 going by, but that 28, I believe, is a lap down. That is Hinton. Yeah, that's Bryce Hinton. He is the first car a lap down, trying to get it back the hard way here. That is currently your points leader in that number 28. That white unsponsored machine gets into the wall there a little bit through turns 3 and 4, gathers it back up. But yeah, he's going to be hoping for a caution because he would be the lucky dog recipient at this point if he can get it. Meanwhile, Jordan Ives trying to work his way back up the track underneath Alex Pollock, but Christian Barnes right in front is going to throw a move on Ryan Bittler, who's up the track in that number 9 machine. Bittler struggling with the handling of that car through the corners, and now Barnes is going to set his sight. I believe that's Gino Volanti in the number 35 right in front as we watch Bittler struggles continue there.
Yeah, it's been a tough night for Christian Barnes. Every single time that he's tried to get a run, there's been crashes in front of him. We see the battle scars on that number 27. He's definitely, been through the ringer tonight. And, you know, we mentioned it before that we thought that he was a driver that could contend for the win. He's definitely not out of it by any stretch, but have to imagine that the performance on that car has been hindered by some of the damage that you see on it right here at this stage of the race. Right now, he's working on Gino Volante up ahead in the 35. As you mentioned before, Ellis, is the battle for the 10th position. And we're coming up here on the end of stage 2 right there, so 10th position's very valuable.
Just about 10 laps now, 11 laps left in stage number 2. And you mentioned it, top 10 will receive points that could help propel them into the playoffs as we watch Jacob Cochran continue to lead. But yeah, good call. Michael Cole running back there in the 5th position currently, started 7th. He's picked up a couple spots over the course of the evening. Cole having a pretty good run in that number 43. That's a driver, Chris. I would
we got
not
trouble
be
on the front stretch,
surprised.
Ellis. The 35 is around. Gino Volante, Gavin Henson's around. Several cars involved.
Yep, Ryan Bittler involved in that as well. The 47 of David Moyer is going to have to go through. And you just mentioned it, Chris. Just about 10 laps left. Intensity was picking up in this stage just a little bit here. Let's see what happened with Gino.
Yeah, so Gino is in front of Christian Barnes right here. Just drove in way too deep right there into turn 3. Up the hill right here. Tried to get back on the throttle, and he was still turning left on the front stretch right there. Not sure if he got loose, but Gavin Hinton, the innocent bystander, Ryan Bittler as well. A couple drivers caught up in that right there. Very unfortunate break for both of them as they exited turn number 4. And Ellis, this is going to set us up for, looks like maybe about a 4 or 5 lap shootout right here towards the end of stage number 2.
A 5-lap shootout we're getting geared up for here as we approach the halfway point at Martinsville. Chris, I'm losing count of how many cautions we've had, but eventually the field has been winnowed. Just now, about 13 cars on the lead lap. After 28 cars started this race, it has certainly been a race of attrition, to say the least. But Jacob Cochran, I'm curious if we get the stats up on the board right now for Jacob Cochran, Cam, and see kind of his story of the race so far on that left-hand side. Yeah, you can see it there. 59 laps led over the course of the evening for that number 8 machine. We got Raffaello in the chat saying this guy is unstoppable, pretty much. I could not agree more. That 8 is going to be tough to get by, especially as we have, these short runs over the course of the race. But I'm not sure that actually doesn't help the field because, Chris, what do we know about Jacob Cochran over the course of long runs and his ability to save tires?
Yeah, I'd say that he's probably one of the better drivers in the field at saving the right front. We saw it last week at Texas. We saw how good he was at that. So that's bad news for the competition. But, if you are Jacob Cochran, you trust your drivers around you. You feel good about them. But, you also still have to have a little bit of trepidation. It can just be one slight little hit right here as the drivers take the choose rule on the front stretch right here. The first 2 electing to take the inside right here. So just a little slip from one of those drivers behind you, maybe accidentally charging the corner too hard, and you yourself could find your way backwards into the wall. So definitely, not in any position to take a breather, that's for sure.
They were getting the one to go, but they're going to hold off on that, trying to get drivers another opportunity or so to get this thing tidied up as we approach the halfway point. It's going to make it a 4-lap shootout here, coming for folks here. It's going to be a wild one indeed. Folks, if you're joining us, we have a lively chat going on right now. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you're on your phone, if you're on your computer, if you're on your TV, you got every chance to get on that chat and potentially win a Christopher Bell diecast. Also, we're hearing some of the numbers on the leaderboard are not updating. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll take a look at that. Daytona. If you can be a little bit more specific, he says, my numbers on the leaderboard aren't updated. We'll get to that in a second. But right now, we got the biggest update, which is a 4-lap shootout about to get underway. It's going to be Jacob Cochran on the inside with Matthew Healy in that number 57 to the outside. Back under green flag racing conditions here from Martinsville. Just 4 laps to go before the end of stage number 2. Cochran's going to win that battle, at least for now, on the inside. Healy now has to hold off the number 40 at Blaze Baker as they enter into turn number 3.
Yeah, boy. Oh, we got trouble in turns 3 and 4. David Moyer is into the wall back behind them. He gets it straightened out, though. We are still green right here. And yeah, the battle is on for second spot right here. Blaze Baker under a lot of pressure from Matthew Healy.
Blaze Baker trying to defend that inside line against Matthew Healy, who's also got Tyler Honeycutt and Michael Cole right behind him. And out of nowhere, Dustin Lewis has climbed his way into 6th position, headed down into turn number 1. Now with just 2 laps, now a lap and a half left before the end of stage number 2. It looks like Cochran's going to be able to get away cleanly here over the next lap. It's his to lose, and the battle is really on. Tyler Honeycutt trying to hold off Michael Cole, 4th position, closest battle we got on track right now.
Yeah, Michael Cole putting a lot of pressure on Tyler Honeycutt, who is also putting his pressure on Matthew Healy up ahead right here. The battle is on for 10th also. Bryce Hinton right now has it. David Moyer under some pressure from Hinton right here. This is actually the battle for 9th. So these drivers are all going to get stage points, you see right here.
That is going to end stage number 1. The top 10 crossed the line, and we're under caution. Your top 10 stage points winners: Cochran, Baker, Healy, Honeycutt, and Cole. Lewis, Cofield, Wren, Moyer, and Hinton round out the top 10 for the stage number 2. We're likely going to see some pit stops here, and I would imagine we're going to see some pit stops. Drivers going to be eager to get some fresh tires, almost 50 laps on that set of tires. We're going to have those coming up here in just a moment. Getting a setup for the second half of the race. Got some comments. Noah Lawrence joining the chat. Noah, appreciate you. Just sent out that diecast from last week. It should be in the mail shortly. Let's check out these green flag pit stops as Jacob Cochran leads them down pit road. Pit crew's going to need to execute their best pit stop of the night so far to keep their driver's track position intact. Every position matters. We've seen that be oh so true over the course of the first 100 laps.
And all the drivers you see on your screen right here, none of these drivers have come to pit road at all during stage number 2. The only one that actually was close to the top 10, I think, was the number 28 of Bryce Hinton. I think he was the only one who actually did come to pit road at any point during the stage. So drivers electing for track position. And Ellis, I think there is a scenario right here as the 8 is going to win the race off pit road. There is a scenario right here where I think that for some of those drivers, that could be their final pit stop tonight.
And Chris, you said the 8 won the race off pit road. Matthew Healy actually won the race off of pit road. I believe that might have been a right side only call potentially. Gutsy call for Matthew Healy to get that track position, to be the control car on the restart. Kind of like that, knowing he's got another pit stop coming up. We're going to see. This is going to be a bellwether, I suppose, for other drivers to see how those right side tires are going to hang on this restart. Boy, this adds some intrigue, certainly, to what's going to transpire here in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and that car, you know, Matthew's been up there near the front all night, so we know he's fast. So, yeah, this will be a good barometer for the rest of the field to look at right here. You know, if we get a lot of cautions right here in the final stage, we might not see any more pit stops. But if we get a fairly long green flag run and we kind of split this in half right here, some drivers might be looking at the speed of this 57 right here and deciding what they want to do in the closing stages of this thing. We can imagine right now, Ellis, that car is probably going to be a little bit on the free side right here on this restart. Typically 2 tires. If you change right side tires, will kind of free the car up, get it a little bit loose, just a little bit less overall grip than getting 4 tires. So we'll definitely have to see how he compares to his competitors.
That is going to be an interesting story to follow. We're not going to have to wait too long to follow it as the drivers come down the front straightaway. They're going to take that choose rule, and Healy, no surprise here, goes to the inside. It's going to put Blaze Baker to his outside, and Jacob Cochran finding himself a little bit further back in third for the first time this evening since starting out the race earlier I'm just looking, they keep on changing on my screen. So he actually started 4th, so he's not too far back from where he started, actually up a position, but he's been up front most of the night. So having some cars in front of him, I'm curious to see how the handling on that number 8 machine might change as we go along here, but Blaze Baker and Matthew Healy going to lead him down. Healy on that inside, that white 57, he's the control car. As soon as he gets to that blue restart zone, he can hit the throttle. He's going to wait till the halfway point. We're back. Green flag racing, stage number 3. The final stage begins here in Martinsville. It's a 100-lap dash to the finish. Wren up the track in that number 24, Moyer and Pollock behind him. They all settle in, but the battle for the lead is not settled. Jacob Cochran, contact from the number 40 of Blaze Baker sends him careening up the track. But Chris, somehow they saved it.
What a great job right there by Jacob Cochran. A great job to hold on to it. Blaze Baker wanted the inside of the track right there. He desperately wanted to be on that inside lane, and he just kind of misjudged the entry speed that the 8 had in front of him. So a great job by all drivers right there to keep it straight.
All drivers keep it going here after a close call. Casey, in-race reporter, saying that Brock Whiteman earlier in the race did miss a shift when that big front stretch melee broke out. So our suspicions, Chris, were confirmed. Now working lap 109 of 200. Just about 91 laps left here from Daytona, Martinsville, in the grandfather clock 200. And the carnage has been just about as much as we might see at Daytona, if not more here at Martinsville, folks. We got some green flag racing going. Doug Lasaki joining the chat. Daytona in the chat, Rafael O in the chat. We got an active chat going right now, Chris. This is one of the best ones of the season. We love to see y'all interacting with each other and fellow race fans. We absolutely love it. Matthew Healy absolutely loves the view he's got, but he would like one better. He's trying to hold off Blaze Baker in that number 40 machine while Jacob Cochran continues to get away, and Baker might have grabbed the wall there. If anything, Chris, that contact propelled the 8 out in front even further.
Yeah, it did, and he's gotten free and clear of the competition right here, which, you know, at this point in time right here, this is what you want, to be able to run some laps, run in some clean air. You know, you don't have a lot of pressure behind you, which, you know, he's been out in front for a lot of this race, Ellis, but he has been in, you know, the midst of a hornet's nest, a lot of pressure from behind that number 8 tonight. So this is probably the least amount of stress that he has felt right here. As one driver that is feeling a lot of stress right now is Matthew Healy, under a lot of pressure from Blaze Baker. Baker going to look to the inside, entering turn number 1 right here. Nothing doing right here. He's going to have to try to reset and go back after him.
Blaze Baker resets and tries to go back after the lead here, riding on board with Michael Cole. He's got the best seat in the house of this action. That black number 40 machine trying to get the inside edge on the number 57 of Matthew Healy for second position. About a sheet of paper's width separates the front bumper of Baker from the back bumper of Healy as they go down into turn number 3 and 4 for the 115th time tonight. Just 85 laps remaining here from Martinsville. It's all going on behind Jacob Cochran. The battle for second, the hottest one on the track so far. We've got another one brewing a little bit further back in the field between Ryan Bittler and Dustin Lewis. 13th place on the line here. You can watch Bittler trying to hold off Dustin Lewis in that number 33 to no avail. The 33 of Lewis sets sail down into the next corner. That wasn't much of a battle, but boy, every battle feels like it is intense and matters here at Martinsville. That battle for second continues to heat up. One car off of turn 2, the 97 of Mark Cofield. Can we get it gathered back up? Will the race director allow this thing to run out and give the 97 the opportunity to tow? He does. We're still under green flag conditions, and boy, bad break for Cofield. We'll see if we can't find out what happened in the 97, but a heads-up call on his part to get it towed to the pits and allow us to continue what's been our longest green flag run of the race so far, and the fans in the chat are absolutely loving it. Stephen Gill, who was racing with us, unfortunately out of the race, and he I think is glad to be out of this race. Chris, what happened to Cofield? We have any idea?
Yeah, we can pull it up side by side right here, and keep the action on the screen right here, the live action, and also see what happened to the 97 of Cofield. There is the 97 as he exits turn number 2 right here. Just gets free on throttle, Ellis, and this is another one of the stories we talked about in the pre-race, tagging the inside wall right there. Loose off of these corners is a condition that drivers have been dealing with at Martinsville for years. You know, just spinning the rear tires on corner exit, and unfortunately for Mark, that damage to the nose of that car, to the inside wall, was fairly significant.
Significant damage for Cofield. I know we had Jonathan Cofield in here watching earlier. Unfortunate turn of events for Cofield, but hey, there's plenty of more races this season. In the chat, Stephen Gill says he think he broke his thumb. Stephen, I need more details on what might have happened and transpired. Usually we don't talk about actual physical injuries in the race, but yeah, some heavy contact.
Yeah, and we saw Steven's car ricochet off of the inside wall, and that car spun like a top right there. So if Steven's got, if the force feedback is at a certain point on his steering wheel, I wonder if that thing snapped back around and grabbed his thumb. Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, that very well could be the case as we watch Alex Pollock and David Moyer doing battle here. That's going on for the 9th and 10th position. And if we look at Alex Pollock, Chris, this is one of those drivers that we've seen really pick up speed over the course of the last season of Mystic Racing League, but it hasn't really had the finishes to show for that number 92 speed so far this season in NSRLA. Started 19th, he's up to 10th, so a good run going, looking to better that average finish for the season, 4 races in after tonight. And boy, that thing looks like it's battle worn here, particularly on that left side with some earlier contact from some of the earlier incidents we had on track, Chris.
Yeah, he's looking to definitely rebound after some tough weeks here in that number 92, but yeah, we definitely know he is capable of it. And like you said, he's got some battle wounds on that number 92, that are kind of similar to some of the other drivers we've seen out here, but he's persevering right along right here in the 10th spot, and definitely looking really solid right there in that number 92. So he, like everybody else, and I've made mention of it before, Ellis, they are those right front brake rotors, left front brake rotors are glowing tonight, especially now with a longer green flag run. We're going to see them get brighter and brighter and brighter on these O'Reilly Auto Parts cars.
Yeah, yep. Night has sun has been down pretty much all race long. It's given us an amazing view of what exactly the inside mechanics of these cars look like, particularly with those brake rotors. One car on pit road, I believe that is the 46 of Bradley Minor coming back out onto the track. Currently, just looking through the field, the battle for second and third is really, as we watch it, Matthew Healy, Blaze Baker. Chris, I think they've chewed a little bit into Jacob Cochran's lead here. Matthew Healy is running some fast laps around the track right now, as is Blaze Baker, not letting Cochran get off as much as we thought he had earlier in the race.
Yeah, Cochran goes up the hill right here. This is going to allow Matthew Healy to get to the inside. He's going to have position on those 2 tires, and he's going to complete the pass on Jacob Cochran. I thought that Cochran Ellis got held up in some lap traffic, and I think it did play a role, but that was just a little bit of a slip right there from the driver of the number 8, an uncharacteristic mistake out of Jacob. We'll see if he can regroup right here and give chase to the 57, but yeah, what a drive for Matthew Healy right here on 2 tires, taking the lead from a driver on 4 tires.
Big power move there from Healy, and we haven't really heard a lot from Healy. I'm just looking at his stats over the season. Really only 1 start earlier this season, and an average finish, really finished in the 6th position. So, we've seen him in 1 race, and he's doing better this race. So good work for him right now. And right now, look at that battle between Michael Cole and the 54 of Tyler Honeycutt. That's going on in a battle for the 5th position, or I should say the 4th position. Close battle between these guys going on right now. Michael Cole in that bright yellow number 43 with Tyler Honeycutt about a car length back.
Yeah, Honeycutt, a car length back right here, looking to make up some ground right now on Michael Cole. These are a couple drivers, Ellis, who have been very consistent all season. A couple of very, very, very quick drivers that, when you talk about somebody else making a, possible statement, next driver to get to victory lane, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see one of those 2 drivers possibly contend right here as Jacob Cochran pouring the pressure back on Matthew Healy right here, looking to get back to the lead right here. That car looks like whatever was going on with the number 8, he's gotten it squared away right here, and he's kind of returning to form.
Yeah, Daytona was actually asking about what had happened to Cochran. He said he was involved in the chat comments and he missed. Yeah, he just overdrove it into one of the corners, slipped up a little bit, and Healy was able to take advantage of it. I believe, Cam, we have a request in the chat for a crank it up static cam, kind of live look at the sights and sounds here around Martinsville Speedway.
Oh, we got trouble, Ellis. We got a car around. Looks like
on that.
Yeah, it turns 1 and 2. I think it's the number 33 that's around.
Yep.
That's Dustin Lewis, and he's going to ride it, I think. And sorry to interrupt, but just a single car incident looks like.
Yeah, we'll return to the scene of the crime and see if we can't figure out what happened. But it looked like maybe a lap car might have, no fault of his own, just kind of thrown off that line entry into the corner a little bit.
Yeah, Dustin Lewis is currently, now with this incident, he falls one more lap down, now 2 laps down in the 14th position. He is approaching, it's like a slow car right here, Dan Berg. And yeah, I don't know if maybe Berg maybe kind of threw him off a little bit right there. I'm not sure, maybe if he just charged the corner a little bit too hard. But not the first time we've seen a driver kind of, overcook it into turn 1. And certainly will not be the last time we see it tonight, I don't believe.
Yeah, we've seen our fair share of overcooking. Maybe more than Food Network has had tonight here on pit road. We've seen the 57, Chris, live pit stops happening right now for pretty much the entire top 10 of the field. And you're watching it. That number 40 of Blaze Baker going to come off pit road first, followed by Matthew Healy. Jacob Cochran back to the 3rd position. But I think Blaze Baker liked what he saw out of Matthew Healy, Chris.
He did, but I don't know if it looks like he's receiving a penalty of some kind right here. Blaze Baker took 2 tires. He was going to win the race off of pit road, but it looks like that number 40 machine, Blaze Baker, might have been speeding on pit road. A very, very unfortunate turn of events for the 40 because now he's going to be back in traffic and he's only on 2 tires, Ellis. So sort of like a double gut punch for Blaze Baker.
Yeah, that's one of those where you're going to be chewing on that one for a minute, especially in the boy, my goodness, we almost had contact between a couple of the guys under caution. Yeah, that's one that you're going to be chewing on for a while, especially in the final really quarter of this race. Costly mistake for Blaze Baker after running in the top 3 much of the evening. Now, I think, Cam, on this restart might be a good opportunity, maybe the best opportunity we have for that crank it up static cam kind of track cam view on the restart. So we'll be ready for that and give the fans what they have asked for in the chat. Folks, keep those comments coming. We are loving what we're seeing. We are loving the interaction you guys are having. Let us know who you think is going to win this race. Some of you got some picks in earlier. The leaderboard right now, just looking at the leaderboard, we got Daytona, Raphael on it, Raffaello's on it, Connor Lyons, Brienne, all got a shot here for points to win that Christopher Bell diecast that we're going to be giving away at the end of the race. Healy is going to be scored as your leader, going to take the inside, and boy, Chris, Michael Cole going to elect to gain track position by going to the outside, and Brett Rinn's going to be the 2nd car on that outside line. He's going to be 4th with Jacob Cochran 3rd. So the top 5, the complexion's changing just a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a little bit different looking race now as the pace cars are going to peel off right here. Some drivers we haven't seen up here near the front right here. Now all of a sudden up here battling in the top 5.
Drivers coming to the green flag. It's going to be on Matthew Healy once he enters that restart zone. He mashes the throttle. We got to be careful.
Oh, we got trouble.
Oh, Brett Reed, David Moore, Alex Pollock, Jordan Ives, 5, 6 cars in a massive collision right across the start-finish line here on lap 143 of 200. And boy, that did not take long. At least 4 cars, Chris, 3 cars going to have the meatball. They're going to have to tow to pit road, or at least come down pit road for some substantial damage repairs. That includes Christian Barnes, Alex Pollock, David Moyer, all running the top 10. Let's find out what happened.
Yeah, it started around the 43 of Michael Cole. And I don't know if Michael Cole was in the wrong gear because I hear low revs. I tried to ride on board with him. Not sure if I heard low revs out of that 43 right there, but yeah, that's our producer Cam Gillen's going to take us back right here a little bit further. And then it's almost like he tried to put it into the correct gear. I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate because it's hard to tell from replay cameras, but yeah, we're riding on board right here with him. We can see right here the 57 launch, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if he just spun tires right there on the restart, but definitely some trouble coming up through the gears one way or another, and unfortunately the 43 car went around as a result of that, and several cars collected right there with him. Brett Wren is one of those. You mentioned Moyer was involved, Jordan Ives, David Moyer. Looks like also the number 6 car was involved. That's Tyler Merkel. So, very similar to the big crash that we saw earlier in this race.
Yeah, and I can tell the fans, Chris, in the chat, they are they're getting worked up over some of the racing that they're seeing out there. I know it is Martinsville. The chaos is kind of expected here. We talked about it during the pre-race and the early portions of the race, and certainly this Grandfather Clock 200, race number 4 of the Downtown Auto Sales Series for the NSRLA, has delivered its fair share of chaos. We just got 50 laps left. Those are going to go by fast, folks. Probably 25 minutes of racing or so. We'll have you out of here by 10 o'clock. I just put the jinx on us, didn't I, Chris?
Yeah, I think that you did.
That is okay, folks. We love you in the chat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button. And hey, you got a bell button you can hit too to get notified of every time we go live with different broadcasts from different leagues every single week, multiple times a week. We give away a diecast. We're giving away that Christopher Bell diecast tonight. Several folks in the running to win that. Keep those comments coming in. Hey, if you got a friend who likes racing, I think the 50 laps are going to be in for some fun. Send them our way, and if they let us know that you sent them, we'll add some points to your name on the leaderboard. So please send that link out to at least one person. Let's get the little phone tree going here and see if we can't get some more action right now and set a record for viewership here on Slingshot TV. Right now, just about 42 laps left in, 52 laps left here in this race number 4 at Martinsville. It's going to be Matthew Healy and Tyler Honeycutt now on the outside to try his hand at second place. Here we go with the restart. Back underway, the engines fire, and everyone gets away cleanly, this time at least through the first corner or so. It's Healy in the lead, but the battle's between the number 54 of Honeycutt, who cedes the position to the 8 of Jacob Cochran. But boy, Chris, Bryce Hinton into 4th position, and somehow Christian Barnes has moved up into the 5th position. That's a great little battle going on across the start-finish line down into turn 1.
Yeah, and Christian Barnes has gotten a lot of damage fixed on that 27. That car looks a lot better now than it did earlier in the race. All the caution flags that we have had right here have really helped him out. And here he is right here, probably with the cleanest car he's had since early on in the race. Yeah, that's Bryce Hinton up the hill on the 28 right there. He's going to corral it. We're still green.
Somehow Hinton kind of saved that there as he slid up the track. We've seen that happen to several drivers tonight. It's evenly spaced right now in the top 5, about a car length to 2 car lengths, separating first to second, second to third, and so forth. Drivers have settled out single file in what feels like it might be the most calm we've seen tonight. And I say that, and I felt like I heard sheet metal hit a wall, but I think we're still underway here. Clean and green as we watch one car, come down pit road. I believe that's the 47 of David Moyer, who might have run into a little bit of issues there, but he's going to get that thing brought down pit road, and we will carry on here at Martinsville. I think we got to give the fans the action cam, the crank it up cam here. These track cams that they've been asking for now feels like, oh boy,
we got trouble.
I was going to say now feels like a time it could happen, but Blaze Baker was going to challenge us on that one, and I'm curious what happened to that 40. He's had speed all night long, Chris, but maybe trying to play catch up after getting that speeding on pit road penalty.
Yeah, right here. We'll see if we can go back to see what happened to Blaze Baker in that number 40 car right here. Our producer Cam, we might be able to go side by side right here at this point and maybe figure out what happened to Blaze in that number 40. There he is looking to the inside of Christian Barnes. Yeah, just charging in too deep right there. Some door-to-door contact with the number 27. Blaze is going to hang on to it, though, and we're still green.
Got a couple of questions in the chat. Raphael asking, do I have to sign up in a link to be selected? Absolutely not. All you got to do is make sure you're subscribed. You're in the comments. You're in the running. If you win, we'll let you know the email address to claim that prize at. So, no links required for this. All are welcome, and we're loving the chat. And I know Matthew Healy loving what he is seeing right now. He's got about 8 car links, and boy, Chris, those... I'm super impressed with what Healy's been able to do, and this is a testament to track position and how powerful it can be as we watch that number 40 of Blaze Baker working on the back bumper of the 6. He gets by the 6th, a lap car of Tyler Merkel. Jordan Ives also getting by Merkel, and Blaze Baker, he's shown some of the fastest lap times here the last couple of laps. We watch Alex Pollock also in 7th position trying to see if he can't claw into the gap that Blaze Baker has built up over that number 92 machine. Shout out to Pollock. It feels like he's been through every single scenario imaginable tonight, but he's still maintaining that top 10 position as we continue to watch that 57 just click the laps away here. Just about 40 laps left in Martinsville. Race number 4, the Grandfather Clock 200, and so far, it's been a wild time. The clock has not yet struck midnight, but drivers driving like a full moon is out in full force tonight. You can see Christian Barnes working on the back there. The number
we got trouble in 1 and 2, Ellis.
Honeycutt. That was Brian Bittler, I believe, in the number 9, who sailed it sideways. It's going to put us under caution here on lap number 161.
Yeah, Ryan Bittler in that number 9 car. Yeah, we'll go back right here to see what happened to him. But yeah, he just charged in a little bit too deep right there in that number 9. He's battling right here with David Moyer. David Moyer is 1 lap down. Ryan Bittler is currently on the lead lap. Yeah, just charged in kind of deep right here. Locks him up. Car goes around right there. No harm, no foul to that number 9 car. But yeah, unfortunately, that will put us under yellow right here and bunch the field back up. And Ellis, you mentioned it. I just want to give, a shout out also to, that 57 of Matthew Healy. Now he's on an even playing field with Jacob Cochran, and things were looking really good for him right before that caution. We do have some takers coming down pit road, though, and one of them is Christian Barnes, and the other one is Bryce Hinton that I see making pit stops.
This is an interesting call. About 24, 25 laps that the leaders have on their tires. With just about a 35-lap shootout ahead of us, this very well could be the last opportunity to come under caution to get tires. Chris, what do you make of this call that we're seeing right now for drivers like Christian Barnes and Bryce Hinton?
I really like the call because there's only 9 cars on the lead lap, one of those being Ryan Bittler, who is going to receive a black flag, I think, for causing the caution. So that's going to be one driver they don't have to worry about right here on the restart. So you could kind of treat it almost like 8 cars on the lead lap. Not many cars in front of them to get back up to the lead. So I like this call. I think this is a good call. If I'm where, the 57 and the 8 are, I definitely agree with their decision to stay out. I don't think that I'd come to pit road, but yeah, for the 27 and the 28, I think that's a good call.
I think it's an interesting call that we're going to definitely have to pick up as a storyline, and what's likely going to be a 35-lap shootout or so. After a nice little green flag run there, we were under caution for a single spin by the number 9 of Ryan Bittler. We're going to take just a moment to hear from our partners at Whiplash SimCams. Right before we come back to the green flag, you are not going to miss a thing as drivers take the choose. We'll be right back. Coming to the line. Back here under green flag conditions. We're going to give the fans what they want with it. Crank it up. Just about 33 laps remaining here in Martinsville. Matthew Healy is your leader. Christian Barnes, Chris, has moved up to second, and that is the car to watch. On fresh tires, it was a storyline we just picked up. He came in. Everyone else had 24 laps on
we got trouble in 3 and 4.
Trouble in 3 and 4. David Moyer, maybe in that number 47, spins it around, but race control is going to hold on to that yellow flag, and we're going to remain under green flag conditions as the number 47 of Moyer gets it gathered back up. But look out for Christian Barnes. He is on a tear, as so is Bryce Hinton back there in 5th position.
Yeah, it looks like Hinton is coming to the inside right here of Tyler Honeycutt. The battle for the 5th spot is on right here. Christian Barnes has been able to work his way through the traffic a little bit cleaner than Hinton has. And here he is all over the rear bumper of Matthew Healy right here. We're going to go back to see if we can figure out what happened to David Moyer. I've got it right here for the side-by-side cam. Moyer in that number 47 car. He was kind of by himself right here in the 47 as the battle is going on for the lead right here on the left-hand side of the screen.
Battle for the lead begins. The 27 of Christian Barnes is going to end it as soon as it begins. On fresh tires, there's a new sheriff in town. Christian Barnes assumes the lead on lap 172 of 200. Just 29, now almost 28 laps left. He stretches it out to about a 3-car length lead over Matthew Healy. Jacob Cochran also the same length back, followed by Blaze Baker and Bryce Hinton. And folks, I believe any one of these top 5 cars could potentially win this race. It's anyone's game. Don't go anywhere. In fact, send your friends if they love good racing. You're about to see some here over the final 25 laps or so. Healy slides up the track. Will Cochran take advantage?
Yeah, Cochran right here looking to try to pounce on that 57 car of Matthew Healy. A lot of chaos back behind those drivers, but yeah, we're going to keep our eyes right here on the battle for the podium right now. Jacob Cochran, Ellis, he is really, really rolling the center of the corner nicely right here. Oh, it kind of hits the wall right there off of turn number 4. This is the hardest I think we've seen that 8-car drive all night tonight as he's really getting after it. Oh, man, as Bryce Hinton is sideways off turn 2 as well.
Yeah, I think Cochran is having to floor it just a little bit more because he's seeing Christian Barnes get smaller and smaller out of that front windshield, trying to lay chase, giving it everything he's got, and Bryce Hinton trying to do the same. He's struggling to get by Blaze Baker in that number 40 machine right in front of him. Patience likely wearing thin. The 28 makes the move down to the inside. Contact between the 28 of Bryce Hinton and the 40 of Blaze Baker sends the 40 up the track, and Bryce Hinton's going to take over that position until Baker tries to force the issue on the outside to no avail. And boy, you could see it, Chris. I saw the patience waning every single lap that 28 could not get by the number 40, and he finally boiled over.
Yeah, it did right there. And yeah, we're now to the stage of the race right here, Ellis, where I think that you're more likely to see some of that chrome horn action, if you will. You know, a lot of it tonight I feel like has been, you know, just accidental contact, but when you reach about 20 laps to go, you start getting to the point right here where you might do a little bit of front bumper to the rear bumper of the driver in front of you, not trying to spin them out, just trying to do what you can to move them up the track and move them out of the way.
Doing everything you can just to get every ounce of track position available out there. And Christian Barnes has he set sail on the field. About a 15-car length lead Barnes has built up over Matthew Healy. It takes a second to see that number 57 slide into the picture, but he's got Jacob Cochran, who's leaned right back into that back bumper of the 57. Cochran trying to mount some sort of magical late race charge. And one thing I will say, albeit 23 laps, better tires right now, we know Cochran is really a master at saving tires, so maybe there's a crossover point and Cochran can take advantage of that. But right now, with just 20 laps left, unless a caution comes out, which it very well could based on the action we've seen tonight, this is looking like, oh boy, Cochran with the save of the night. How did he not lose it, Chris?
That was a great save, and yeah, just kind of buzzed the tires on corner exit of turn number 4 right there. We can go back right here and watch this right here for Jacob Cochran side by side. He was looking to the inside of Matthew Healy right there, and he just mashes that throttle. You mentioned it, Ellis. These drivers are putting more and more throttle to it, and look at this thing get sideways right there. Wheels hard to the right, and he's going to hold on to it. A great save by Jacob Cochran.
Cochran holds on to it, but it's going to push him back to the 4th position. It opened the door for Bryce Hinton to get by in that number 28, and now Hinton is trying to fight to take over the 2nd position from Matthew Healy, who had led the race just a little while earlier. Healy with a great race, a season's best race for Healy, in fact, trying to hold out the number 28 of Bryce Hinton, the winner at Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and that points leader, looking to add to that points lead tonight, and he's on his way to doing so. But I've seen him running equal lap times, Chris, with Christian Barnes, and Matthew Healy really is as well. Christian Barnes now running into lap traffic for the first time on this restart. So how much of a role can these lap cars play in the outcome of this race for Barnes and the rest of the top 3?
Yeah, lap cars can play a big role here at Martinsville. They play a role on any track, but especially a track like this where it's so single groove. There's only one really fast way around this track. It's right around the bottom. So if a lap car is there, you know, they might possibly hold you up. As the battle is on for the 4th spot right here between Jacob Cochran and Blaze Baker. Baker all over the back bumper of Jacob Cochran as Jacob has lost a little speed right here on this final run of the race, it seems.
Yeah, a little bit of surprising tire fall off, and I have a feeling that has to do with a couple of big slides that number 8 took earlier in this run. And Blaze Baker trying to take advantage of a rare kind of tire fall off moment for that number 8 of Jacob Cochran. 2 different lines and 2 different approaches to those corners that those 2 drivers are working right now. It's about a car length, 1 car in the wall. That might have been
Roy Sprague in the 59, but he's going to save it, and we're still green.
Every driver in the top 3 held their breath. Some, like Christian Barnes, holding his breath, hoping that the caution didn't come out, and maybe Matthew Healy hoping that a caution did come out. Either way, they're not going to get it, but look at this battle between Hinton and Healy.
Yeah, hitting all over the rear bumper of Matthew Healy. That's a little bit of tire advantage right there on the 28 compared to the 57. That car is really rolling nicely through the center of the corner. He wasn't able to get through the traffic as well as Christian Barnes was on the restart. Barnes got a little bit more speed out of the new tires, but they're definitely paying off for Bryce here as he's going to look to grab that 2nd spot here with just 10 laps to go.
He looks like he's able to hang that yellow line just a little bit better as Healy works his way by. Blaze Baker there trying to hold off all the cars around him and maybe get back by Jacob Cochran here. He's got the number 54 of Tyler Honeycutt. Top 6 run going for the number 54. Great work for the driver of that car tonight. This battle is continuing to pick up everywhere in the field right now. Just 9 laps left. No caution yet. Christian Barnes hoping that stays the case. Other drivers maybe think he gets their only chance. Here's the battle for 2nd position. Hinton lunges to the inside of Matthew Healy. He's got the position. Healy with the run off the corner. Will he attempt to close the door? He just doesn't have the space to make it work, and they're going to rub fenders potentially through the corner on the front straightaway.
Oh, hang on to it, Bryce. He's going to save it. A great job right there by the 28, but he's in trouble right here in 1 and 2. That's going to enable Matthew Healy to have a lot of breathing room right here as Bryce Hinton went for one wild ride.
Oh my goodness, how he held on to that. I have no idea. The hands were going every which way inside that cockpit on the steering wheel, but he holds on to it. We stay under the green flag now with just 6 laps. Now 5 laps remaining here from Martinsville. Christian Barnes is your leader by about 30 car lengths or so, or 3.5, now 4 seconds up on Matthew Healy, who's trying anything and everything to potentially catch Christian Barnes here at Martinsville. Barnes has not put a foot wrong the second half of the race. He faced some adversity and some setbacks early on, but he's clawed his way to the top, and it was a late race tire strategy that really propelled him to where he is right now. Blaze Baker continues to stave off the last-minute fight from Tyler Honeycutt in that number 54 as they work their way closer towards Jacob Cochran.
Yeah, that steering box on that 28 car still has to be smoking after that great save that we saw him make right there. Tyler Honeycutt is putting a lot of pressure on Blaze Baker right now. Tyler Honeycutt is one of the more consistent drivers as far as speed goes that we've seen all season, so he's going to look to get this final spot in the top 5 right here. He's all over the back bumper of that number 40 car.
That number 40 car doing everything he can to hold off the number 54, but he makes a mistake. He slides up the track. Tyler Honeycutt's going to be the benefactor of that mistake. It's going to send Baker back to 6th. Honeycutt up to the 5th position. And now we're going to see Christian Barnes take the white flag for the Whiplash Simcam's white flag last time around for Barnes. He's a Mystic Racing League champion, a 3-peat champion just this past season in all 3 major series for Mystic Racing League. He winds through the corner. Tonight, it's his 2nd race of the season for this series, but it's win number 1. Barnes bats 500. He wins in Martinsville. Matthew Healy's going to pick up the 2nd position. Bryce Hinton is going to pick up 3rd. Those are your top 3 at the end of a wild 200 laps. And folks, we got there. I told you we would have you home by 10, and there we are. We got you home by 10 o'clock. It's 9:55. We even got some time for some post-race interviews, which we want to make sure you stick around for. But before we do so, we want to let you know the winner of the diecast tonight. Raffaello, you are the winner of the Christopher Bell diecast. You can email us at ssracingleagues@gmail.com and get in touch with us to claim that prize. I'm going to throw that up on the screen for you. It's ssracingleagues@gmail.com to get in touch with us. And so you watch Christian Barnes, the race winner on the track, doing celebratory donuts. And I think I don't think we get free Domino's pizza for that win, but wouldn't that be nice? Because I think we're going to see many more of those over the course of this 15-race season. And look at Brett Wren, 2 top 10s in a row for driver number 24. Shout out to him. We'll talk more about that here in a moment, but we're going to take a quick step away here to get geared up for our post-race interviews. We're going to hear from our friends over at iRacing, and we'll be back right on the other end of this short break. Folks, do not go anywhere. There's so many voice chats in here. All right. Back here live in Martinsville. Looked like Christian Barnes burned those tires down. He's your winner tonight, but we got 2 other drivers to talk to before we hear from him. We're going to be looking for Bryce Hinton, the points leader. I believe he's going to retain that points lead tonight. We're going to try to pull him into the broadcast booth. I'm looking through to see where Bryce is.
I've got him if you want me to get him.
Okay, yeah, if you would bring him in, that would be awesome.
Okay, we'll get Bryce into the broadcast booth here.
Bryce Hinton, driver number 28. It's Ellis, Chris, and Cam up in the Slingshot TV booth. You got a copy.
How's it going, guys? Sure do.
Oh man, it is going. It is good to talk to you again. I know you would have preferred it be under different circumstances, maybe 2 positions higher, but a heck of a run, Bryce. A couple of close calls on the racetrack, but you were able to hold on to it. Boy, have you had a moment to breathe? This feels like it was just a chaotic race from green to checker.
Yeah, I'm looking at my watch. My heart rate's 130 right now. This was a pretty crazy race. I haven't raced Martinsville in like 7 months actively on this track. I remember telling you guys last week that I would not do well. So the strategy was sit at the back until it mattered, and eventually I found a rhythm. But man, yeah, this was a pretty wild one. A lot of cautions, a lot of contact, a lot of hard racing at the front. Guys who know what they're doing. So it was great to be a part of it.
What was the mood like on the chat for folks in the race? Were tempers kind of flaring at all?
Here and there. The thing about this league, these guys do a really good job of making sure we keep it respectful because we all got to come back next week, So
Yeah.
racing's racing, but no big temper flares. People understand that this is Martinsville and guys are racing hard and they want to be competitive. So no hard feelings, I think.
Man, I got to ask you about that tire call at the end. It was the same tire call that Christian Barnes made, but you didn't seem to make as much progress early on. Is there anything you could have done different maybe to get those spots earlier after the restart?
Yeah, I was trying to be really cautious around people. Like I said, I don't know this track and the braking points and stuff, so I was just kind of winging it out there. I didn't want to be the guy that causes a wreck. So if someone was I was closing in on somebody on corner entry, I would really, really brake hard, and that caused me to lock the tires up some. So I didn't have the advantage that Christian had later in the run, but I'm happy I went in and took 4. That seemed to give me a couple more spots than I would have got otherwise.
Man, you did a heck of a job. I'm going to ask you about your blank paint scheme tonight, at least on our end, and give you the opportunity to give any shout outs if you want to the folks at home before we let you go celebrate.
Yeah, Ford contacted me before the race. They saw the great job I was doing recently, and they're like, "Hey, we'll sponsor you for this one. You trade in the Supra for a race, and we'll see how you do." No, I'm just kidding. I accidentally registered with this Mustang, but yeah, no, it worked out. Yeah, that's it. But no shout outs. Just appreciate the guys in the league for putting it on, and you guys for another great broadcast.
Absolutely, man. Extending the points lead. We'll see you next week at Rockingham. Have a good week.
10-4, you too.
Thank you. All right, so that was Bryce Hinton. Now we're going to pull in Matthew. We're going to ask him how to pronounce his name. Don't worry. In the chat, and we'll hear from our second place finisher. Chris, I'll let you take it away.
Matthew H., driver of the number 57. This is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Oh, that's going well. I'm not sure if we're doing as well as you are after that great second place finish. But before we get to that, Ellis and I have got something we got to figure out right here. Can you tell us how to pronounce your last name?
It is heel. The E on the end is silent.
Okay, so yeah, hey, that's all right. So yeah, I did it one way last week. We did it the other way this week. So yeah, we'll make sure we get it right going forward from here. But great
No
second
worries,
place
gentlemen.
run.
A lot of people call me Healy anyways, and I've kind of just gotten used to it at this point. But if we want to go correct, it is heel.
Gotcha. Well, we will remember that. A great run for you tonight in that number 57. We saw you do a little bit different tire strategy there at one point, taking 2 tires, and man, it didn't seem like it hurt the speed of that 57 at all. Tell us about your night behind the wheel.
Yeah, this Big Money Media number 57 was on rails tonight. Super cool. This is actually going to be the Twilight Cruise, the final race for us together. We're going to be jumping over into a new paint scheme, so I'm going to have to get used to that. And I guess I've only been running 2 races here, but the broadcast will have to get used to a new paint scheme as well. I've been working on this paint scheme a bit. It's actually going to be based off of the modified that I made a start in earlier this year, so really happy to come out with that. But I've always loved Martinsville. I could talk your ear off on Martinsville for hours if you asked me about it. As a very, soft spot for me. It was the first race I ever attended when I was working for NASCAR back in 2018, and I was lucky enough to go down with the MX5 series last year and do some testing there. And it's just a track that I really enjoy. Going to. It's one of the tracks where the TV really doesn't do it justice. You got to go there in person just to see everything that kind of unfolds there. It's an awesome track, and I run a lot of local stuff, so it's very familiar to me when it comes to just the driving style with the local stuff. And I think that was the little bit of competitive edge that I had to stay on top of the field tonight. I wish I could have brought it home with a checkered flag. I run in a few other leagues, and the joke is that I always finish second. So I was hoping that I could kind of break the curse here and either come home with a win, but it looks like the curse of second place is going to keep on going. But I guess you can't be too upset about second. Just a good overall run and a smooth, clean race, and that's really what we're looking for here. Having a fun time, and hope to be here next week.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to seeing you here next week. Before I let you go and give a shout out, so I want to circle back to what you mentioned before about running the MX5s here in Martinsville. So you tested the MX5s around here. I got a chance to sort of watch a little bit of that. Tell us about your experience doing that. How wild was it?
Oh, it's a super fun experience. I didn't actually get behind the wheel of one of the MX5s, but I have driven a Miata around the track a few times, and I go to the local Watkins Glen racetrack up here in New York, and I've made a few laps around there, and it's always a blast just getting to rip around there, and it was so cool. I've been such a big fan of the Mazda MX5s, and it's been putting on great racing. It's you can actually watch all of the races for free on YouTube stream live, so it's a great deal. You guys should definitely check it out, especially the Daytona race. They usually get about 40 cars there, and it's usually quite fun. But very fortunate to be able to go down and watch the first ever test. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Ron Hornaday really helped put that deal together, and it was cool to meet him and chat with him, and all the wheeling guys. Ted Marsh. I recently participated in the Sonny Wheeling Drive for a Cure race that was up at Lime Rock. I actually got the privilege of running with Connor Zilich and Priest there, so that was a good bit of fun. So I've been around, really appreciate the wheeling guys, what they do for the sport with the Mazda MX-5. Like I said, I probably want to get to the leader here soon, so I'll shut up here. But I just really enjoy racing. It's a great little program that they put on, and hope to see it succeed.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you hit the track next week at Rockingham. Before we let you go celebrate this great podium finish here tonight, do you have any friends, family, sponsors that you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
I got to thank all my friends and family that may be watching this race. I always share it out in the couple group chats that I'm in. Like I said, got to give a big shout out to Big Money Media, Chef Colin Maybe. This is going to be kind of our twilight race. I wish we could have went out on top, but it's a good P2 for us, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter and unveiling the next paint scheme, and hopefully there'll be many wins to come.
Yeah, well, we have no doubt about that at all with the speed that you showed here tonight. That's Matthew Hill, driver of the 57, our second place finisher. Great run out there. We'll see you next week, bud.
Thank you.
All right, we've heard from our third and second place finishers. That means it's time to bring in our winner, Christian Barnes. It's Ellis, Chris, and Cam in the Slingshot TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, man. Well, congratulations. 4 races this season for NSRLA, 4 winners. You are the 4th one. And tonight here at Martinsville, if you had asked me halfway through the race if I thought that 27 was going to be in victory lane, I don't know if you would have been at the top of my list. But, boy, talk to us about that pit call strategy that puts you on those fresh tires with, about 30 laps or so to go. How confident were you that that was going to be the right call?
I felt pretty confident. It doesn't seem like the tires wear too much, especially after, just 20 laps. But I started noticing that after about 20, 30 laps, I started getting just a little bit tight. I wasn't sure if the leaders were feeling that at all because they've been up there, most of the race. And I'd, been working really hard, the final half of that race, after I got all my damage fixed to get up there. So, when they, faked to come in and went out, I was like, all right, I'll just do the complete opposite of them and, hope that people come behind me so I don't got to start, all the way back, 9th or 10th. Luckily, a lot of guys came behind me. I was able to restart 4th. And basically, it was just I had to make the moves as quick as I could because the tires do even out at a certain point. So I knew I had to push, be a little aggressive. And I was able to just, take them one by one, and clean air definitely helps a lot. Even with new tires, when you're stuck behind guys, the dirty air definitely affects you big time. So, once I got the lead, with the new tires, I decided to set sail and get out of there as fast as I can, and just hope for no caution.
Man, you got exactly what you were looking for. that first half of the race was particularly chaotic, and it took a while to kind of dissipate. But talk to us about how difficult it was to kind of lock in with the amount of cautions that we had and kind of the short intervals in between each one. How difficult was it not to kind of just lose focus?
No, it's definitely easy to lose focus, but I was involved in 2 big accidents. One, I just had nowhere to go. Got put in the outside wall, over a minute damage. So I had to work with that, and I got most of it fixed. And then that restart pile up, I think someone just missed a shift and didn't go, and everybody just piled in, and that's another minute of damage. So. It's very easy to, just say, oh, to hell with this, but you just gotta stay calm and just remember there's probably going to be another yellow. There's, more time. There's 100 laps to go. You just gotta, just focus, just get back to work, and just get after it. And once I got my damage fixed, I was able to go.
Man, you are getting after it. Just your second start of the season, but I know you're probably going to be looking to make those playoffs. We're headed to Rockingham next week. Are we going to see you there, and what can we expect out of that race?
I'm 50-50. I want to be there. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm definitely going to make as many starts as I can with this series and this league. Just not for sure next week, but I'm going to do my best to make it there, just, not for sure.
Awesome. Well, we'll hopefully be looking forward to seeing you. And before we let you go celebrate win number 1 of the season, any shout outs for the fans watching at home?
I want to shout out my team, Waterforce Racing, with Gavin and Brad. And Gavin did not have the race that he wanted. He had a little more bad luck than I did. But just want to shout him out. And I want to shout out Precision for adding me on just recently. And that's about it.
All right, man. We'll let you go celebrate that win. Christian Barnes, the number 27 machine, winner here at Martinsville.
Thank you.
All right, so we've heard from the top 3. Now it's time to take a look at the rest of the running order. And 28 drivers started the race tonight, but certainly a lot less than that finished on the lead lap. We heard from Barnes, Heel, and Hinton. 4th was Jacob Cochran. 5th, Tyler Honeycutt. Blaze Baker holds on to a 6th position finish after spending much of his time up front tonight. Brett Wren, 2 top 10s in a row for Brett Wren in that number 24. And shout out to Alex Pollock. Working through adversity, we saw the battle scars on that number 92. He holds on to 8th position. Ryan Bittler involved in multiple incidents tonight, much of not his own making. As we saw many drivers have that befall them. He finishes 9th in the number 9 machine. I think that's where he started as well. So very consistent for Ryan. Then number 53, Tyler Hensley, after some early race troubles, finishes in the top 10.
Yeah, we'll look at 11 through 20 right here. Michael Cole had a lot more speed in the 43 than that all night, but unfortunately is going to finish in the 11th spot after that restart crash we saw. Dustin Lewis is going to bring it home in the 12th spot. Dan Berg is going to finish in 13th in that number 48. Roy Sprague is going to finish in the 14th position. Looks like we've got Tyler Merkel finishing in the 15th spot. Jordan Ives in the 31 will finish 16th. David Moyer in the 47. Man, talk about another car that had some battle scars on it. He's going to finish in 17th. All these drivers you're seeing right here on your screen ran into trouble at some point tonight. Mark Cofield is going to finish in the 18th spot. Bradley Miner is going to bring it home in 19th. And Brandon Bees is going to finish in the 20th position.
21st on his birthday, Gino Volanti had a strong run going earlier, but had some trouble. He's going to finish 21st. Gavin Henson out early with trouble. He finishes 22nd. Stephen Gill, tough night. Might have had an even worse injury with a little bit of thumb tweakage in a crash on. He finishes 23rd. Bill Hull in that 51 is going to finish 24th. Brock Whiteman, unfortunate misshift early, brought out a big caution. He finishes 25th. Sean Signori, Chris, this is one of those moments where it could have, what could have been. Sean starting on the pole, had a lot of speed, got a black flag, fell back to the pack, and got mired in the chaos. He's going to finish 26th. Donnie Honeycutt, 27th. And he is the final finisher tonight. The rest of the cars did not start the race.
Yeah, and I kind of go back to Sean Signori right here, and Yeah, it was literally the lap right after he had served that penalty. Unfortunately, he was in the crash that also Donnie Honeycutt was caught in. So, yeah, what might have been right there. But we're not wondering what might have been for Christian Barnes. What a great persevering drive for him in the number 27. A great job to get back up to the front of this thing after an EOL to start this thing. And Ellis, man, what an action-packed night. Martinsville, it always brings the chaos. It always brings the carnage. But, yeah, Christian Barnes able to prevail over everybody else tonight.
Great racing at Martinsville. We're headed to another short track, definitely a different short track next week at Rockingham. All these drivers will hopefully be back, and we will have another exciting race. Same time, same channel, same cars, just a different track, and plenty of racing going on in between that time period. Monday, we've got the UD Awards National Series. Chris, where are we headed? We headed to Bristol next week?
Next week, we're headed to Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay. We got Bristol coming up at some point, I think. But yes, Charlotte.
We do.
UD Awards National Series. The ARCA cars for Slingshot Racing League going to put on an awesome show next Monday. Charlotte, I believe the green flag's right around 8:40, 8:45, 8, somewhere around then.
For those guys, it's going to be about 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Time.
And that's really sad because I raced in that series. I just can't remember what time it starts. But Wednesday night, we've got the Stand-Up Fight Series Invitational for Slingshot Racing League. Where are y'all headed this week?
So we're going to Auto Club, and that's far removed from the last couple weeks. It's been a tough stretch. Talladega, North Wilkesboro, Watkins Glen. So me personally, I'm really glad to be headed towards a more intermediate style racetrack. So it should be entertaining. Auto Club always puts on a great show.
I can absolutely feel that. And then, like we mentioned, we're headed to Rockingham next week for the Downtown Auto Sales Series. But there's also a big event we want to let you know coming up on the 22nd of November. We've got a charity race, a broadcast that we're going to be doing. 40 cars going to be starting this race for Slingshot TV. It's the Thanksgiving Fall Classic at Talladega. All the proceeds we raise from driver registration, from social media fundraising, and from super chats that you can give during the race, all that money, not a penny less, is going to be donated to Feeding America, going towards hungry families this Thanksgiving and Christmas season. And to sweeten the pot for you folks at home who tune in, we're doing some die-cast giveaways. We got a 1/24th scale Jeff Gordon car that we're going to be giving away, that Rainbow Warrior paint scheme. We got some NASCAR trading card packs, one of which includes a driver autograph that we're going to be sending out to one lucky fan. And we got some smaller Dale Earnhardt Jr. die-cast that we're going to be giving away. So make sure you tune in Saturday, November 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It is going to be 70 laps of fun racing at Talladega, all for a good cause. And it'll be me, Chris, and Johnny in the booth for that one. So looking forward to that. Cam, good job tonight, man. Shout out to you every single week. You just make it look so easy, get better and better, and we cannot say thank you enough. And good job to you, Chris, as well. Folks, that is going to do it tonight from Martinsville. It was a wild one, but we had a good time. We enjoyed the laughs, we enjoyed the chat, and we enjoyed the racing. More of that to follow next week. Have a great night, everybody. So long from Martinsville.